At 1:44 a.m., the underground parking garage beneath Moretti Tower feels colder than winter steel. 27-year-old Selena Vale sits trembling inside her car after receiving the text that shattered her world. Your father is dead. 12 hours ago, Adrian Vale was still alive, the legendary head of security for Chicago's most feared crime lord, Lucien Moretti. Now he's gone, killed by a sniper's bullet meant for Lucien. When the man her father died protecting finds her crying in the darkness, their shared grief ignites something neither expected. That night changes everything. Thank you for following my story. Please like, comment what city you're watching from so I can see how far this story has traveled. The fluorescent lights overhead hum like dying insects. Selena's hands won't stop shaking. She stares at her phone screen until the words blur into meaningless pixels, but no amount of blinking makes them disappear. Your father is dead. 3 words. 12 letters. An entire universe collapsing into the cold leather seat of her Honda Civic. She doesn't remember driving here, doesn't remember leaving her apartment, or grabbing her keys, or navigating 23 blocks through Chicago's midnight streets. Memory stops at the moment her phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. Everything after that is fog and autopilot, and the mechanical function of a body that forgot how to feel. The parking garage stretches empty in every direction. Concrete pillars cast long shadows under harsh white lights. Somewhere above her, 15 stories of steel and glass pierce the sky. Moretti Tower, the fortress her father protected for 18 years. The place he worked. The place he died for. The place she swore she'd never visit. Selena's breath comes in short, painful gasps. Her chest feels crushed beneath invisible weight. She wants to scream, but her throat has sealed shut. She wants to cry, but her body has run dry. All that remains is this terrible, hollow ache spreading through her ribs like poison. Adrian Vale is dead. Her father is dead. The man who taught her to ride a bike and change a tire and stand up for herself even when the world pushed back. The man who made pancakes every Sunday morning and attended every single one of her college art shows, even though he understood nothing about graphic design. The man who called her bright eyes, and meant it, who saw light in her that she never saw in herself. Gone. Erased by a bullet that wasn't even meant for him. Footsteps echo across concrete. Selena's head snaps up. Her heart hammers against her ribs as a figure emerges from the shadows near the elevator bank. Tall, broad-shouldered, moving with the controlled precision of someone trained to kill. Lucien Moretti. Even in the dark, she recognizes him. Her father kept exactly 3 photographs in his wallet. Selena's high school graduation photo, a faded picture of her mother who died when Selena was 6, and one shot of him standing beside Lucien outside this very building. She's seen Lucien's face 100 times in newspapers and police reports, and whispered conversations her father refused to finish. Chicago's most feared crime lord, the untouchable king of an empire built on violence and blood money and secrets that could destroy politicians, judges, and millionaires. But the man walking toward her car doesn't look like a king. He looks destroyed. Lucien's white dress shirt is untucked and stained dark across the front. His jacket is missing. His black hair falls disheveled across his forehead, and his eyes, those amber eyes the newspapers described as merciless and calculating, are swollen and red. He's been crying. The realization hits Selena like a physical blow. Lucien stops 3 feet from her car door. For a long moment, he just stares at her through the window. His jaw works like he's trying to find words that don't exist. His hands hang at his sides, trembling. Then he speaks, and his voice cracks halfway through. Selena. She doesn't answer, can't answer. Her name in his mouth sounds wrong, too intimate, too familiar, like he has any right to speak to her at all. I'm sorry, Lucien says. His voice is raw, wrecked. Christ, I'm so sorry. Selena's fingers tighten around her phone until the plastic case creaks. Get away from me. I know you don't want to see me. Get the fuck away from me. The words rip out of her throat like broken glass. He died because of you. He's dead because you... Her voice shatters. The dam breaks. Everything she's been holding back for the last hour explodes outward in a scream that echoes off concrete and metal and indifferent steel. Lucien flinches but doesn't move. Doesn't retreat. He stands there absorbing her rage like he deserves every syllable. And maybe he does. Maybe this man in his blood-stained shirt earned every ounce of her hatred. "He was your father," Lucian says quietly. "But he was my best friend." "Don't you dare He was the only person who ever gave a damn about me." Lucien's voice cracks again. His hands curl into fists. "The only person who believed I could be more than what this city made me. The only man I ever trusted with my life." Selina's vision blurs with tears. Then why is he dead? The question hangs in the air between them like smoke. Lucien's face contorts with something that looks like physical pain. Because he jumped in front of a bullet meant for me. Because he always protected me. Because that's who Adrian Vale was. A man who saved people even when they didn't deserve saving. His voice breaks completely on the last word. And suddenly Lucien Moretti, the feared crime boss, the untouchable kingpin, the man her father served for nearly 2 decades, collapses against her car door and sobs. The sound is terrible, raw and ugly and utterly human. His shoulders shake. His breath comes in ragged gasps. His forehead presses against the cold glass of her window like he's too exhausted to stand upright anymore. Selina stares at him through the barrier between them. Part of her wants to drive away, to leave him bleeding emotionally in this garage the same way her father bled out on some rooftop across the city. Part of her wants to hurt him the way she's hurting, to make him feel the crushing weight of grief that's suffocating her from the inside out. But another part of her recognizes something in Lucien's broken posture, the same thing she sees every time she looks in the mirror. Loss. Her hand moves to the door handle before her brain catches up. She pushes the door open slowly. Lucien staggers back, wiping his face with shaking hands, trying and failing to compose himself. "I shouldn't be here," he says roughly. When security said you were in the garage, I had to—" He stops. Swallows hard. "Adrian would want me to make sure you're okay." "I'm not okay." Selina's voice sounds hollow even to her own ears. "My father is dead. I'm the furthest thing from okay." "I know." "No, you don't." She climbs out of the car, her legs unsteady. "You don't know anything about me. You don't know what he meant to me. You don't know—" "He talked about you constantly." Lucien's words stop her cold. "Every single day. What you were working on, what you were designing, how proud he was of you, how you inherited your mother's eyes and his stubbornness and enough talent to change the world if you wanted to." Selina's breath catches. "He kept every piece of work you ever sent him," Lucien continues. His voice is steadier now, but barely. "Every birthday card, every email. He had them all saved in his office upstairs. He showed me your portfolio last month when you redesigned that website for the Children's Hospital. He must have opened that file 15 times just to look at it." Tears stream down Selina's face. "Stop. He loved you more than anything in this world." Lucien's amber eyes meet hers, and the grief in them is bottomless. "And he knew exactly how dangerous my life was. He knew what protecting me might cost, but he did it anyway because that's who your father was, the best man I ever knew." The words hit Selina like bullets. Each one finds its mark. Each one carves deeper into the wound, already destroying her from the inside. "I hate you," she whispers. "I know. I hate you so much. I know. He should be alive." Her voice cracks. "He should be here instead of you." Lucien's face contorts. "You're right." The agreement breaks something fundamental inside Selina's chest. Because she wants him to argue. She wants him to defend himself or make excuses or give her a target for all this rage burning through her veins. But he doesn't. He just stands there accepting her hatred like penance, like he believes he deserves it. "Why didn't you protect him?" The question tears out of her. "You had an army. You had resources. You had everything. Why didn't you save him?" "Because he wouldn't let me." Lucien's voice is barely above a whisper. "The shooter was on a rooftop 6 blocks away. Adrian saw the laser sight a second before I did. He pushed me out of the way, and he can't finish, doesn't need to." Selina's knees buckle. Lucien catches her before she hits the concrete, his arms wrapping around her shoulders with surprising gentleness. She should push him away, should scream at him to let her go, should claw at his face until he bleeds the way her father bled. But she doesn't. Because grief is a drowning ocean, and Lucien Moretti is the only other person treading water in the dark with her. "I can't do this," Selina gasps against his chest. Her fingers clutch his ruined shirt. I can't breathe. I can't think. I can't. I know. His hand moves to the back of her head, steadying her. I know. It hurts so much. I know. They stand there in the harsh fluorescent light, two strangers bound together by the absence of a man they both loved. Selina can smell blood on Lucian's shirt, her father's blood, dried and stiffening the fabric. The scent makes her stomach turn and her heart shatter simultaneously. Come upstairs, Lucian says quietly. Please, you shouldn't be alone right now. I don't want to go anywhere with you. I understand. But Adrian would never forgive me if I let you drive home like this. His voice is gentle but firm. Stay for an hour, have some water, catch your breath. Then I'll have someone drive you wherever you want to go. Selina pulls back far enough to look at his face. Lucian's eyes are still red and swollen. His jaw is tight with barely controlled emotion. He looks as wrecked as she feels. Maybe more. 1 hour, she hears herself say. Lucien nods. He releases her carefully, like she might shatter if he moves too fast. Then he gestures toward the elevator bank. This way. The elevator ride to the penthouse takes 43 seconds. Selina counts every one. Lucien stands in the opposite corner, his hands shoved deep in his pockets, staring at the floor like it holds answers to questions he's afraid to ask. The silence between them is suffocating. When the doors finally open, Selina steps into a space that looks nothing like what she expected. The penthouse is huge, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Chicago skyline, expensive furniture arranged with careful precision, art on the walls that probably costs more than she makes in a year. But it doesn't feel like a criminal's lair. It feels like a home. Your father helped me decorate, Lucien says quietly behind her. He said the place looked like a museum. Too cold. Too empty. So he dragged me to about 30 furniture stores until we found pieces that actually felt like living. Selina's eyes burn with fresh tears. She can picture it perfectly, her father bullying this dangerous man through shopping districts, arguing about throw pillows and color schemes, forcing humanity into a space built by violence. Bathroom is down that hall if you need a minute, Lucien continues. His voice is carefully neutral. Kitchen is through there, I'll make coffee. He disappears before Selina can respond. She stands alone in the enormous living room, her reflection ghostly in the dark windows. Outside, Chicago sprawls beneath her in rivers of light. Somewhere out there, her father's body is lying on a metal table in the medical examiner's office. Somewhere out there, the person who fired that bullet is still breathing. Somewhere out there, the world kept spinning even though Adrian Vale stopped. Selina moves deeper into the penthouse. Her eyes catch on details she didn't notice at first. A bookshelf filled with crime novels and financial reports, a chess set arranged mid-game on a side table, photographs scattered across various surfaces. She stops in front of one particular frame. It's a candid shot of her father and Lucien standing outside this building. Adrian is laughing at something off-camera, his hand on Lucien's shoulder. Lucien is smiling, genuinely smiling, not the cold expression she's seen in newspapers. He looks younger, lighter, almost happy. The photograph was taken 3 months ago, according to the date stamp in the corner. 3 months ago, her father was alive. 3 months ago, none of this nightmare existed. That was his birthday, Lucien's voice says behind her. She didn't hear him return. We went to his favorite steakhouse downtown. He ate enough prime rib to kill a normal person, then complained about needing to work out more. Selina's throat tightens. He loved that place. I know. We went there every year. Lucien sets 2 mugs of coffee on the table beside them. He always ordered the same thing, always told the same terrible jokes to the waitstaff, always insisted on paying even though he knew I owned the damn restaurant. Despite everything, a small, broken laugh escaped Selina's chest. That sounds like him. He was stubborn as hell. He used to say the same thing about me. Lucien's mouth twitches with something that might be a smile under different circumstances. He said you inherited his best and worst qualities. The stubbornness, the loyalty, the inability to back down from a fight even when you should. He talked about me that much? Every single day. Lucien picks up one of the coffee mugs, his hand still trembling slightly. You were his entire world, Selina. Everything he did, every decision he made, every risk he took, was about building a future where you'd be safe. The words land like punches. Then he failed, Selena says bitterly, because I'm not safe. I'm standing in the penthouse of Chicago's most dangerous crime lord, and my father is dead. Lucian flinches. You're right. Stop agreeing with me. Her voice rises. Stop acting like you understand. Stop pretending you're human when you built an empire on hurting people. I never pretended to be anything other than what I am. Lucian's voice hardens slightly. Your father knew exactly who I was, what I'd done, what I was capable of. And he stayed anyway. Why? The question explodes out of Selena. Why would a good man like my father work for someone like you? Why would he waste 18 years of his life protecting a criminal? Lucian sets down his coffee mug carefully. His jaw works for a moment before he answers. Because he believed people could change, he says finally. Because he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Because Adrian Vale was the kind of man who looked at broken things and saw potential instead of trash. He moves to the window, his reflection ghostly against the city lights. I met your father 19 years ago. I was 24 years old and running the most violent operation on the South Side. I'd killed 11 men by that point, personally, with my own hands. I was angry and brutal and convinced the only language the world understood was violence. Selena's stomach turns, but she doesn't interrupt. Adrian was working private security for a developer my organization was extorting. He could have looked the other way, could have let us burn the building and collect his paycheck. Instead, he stood in my face and told me I was wasting my potential. Said I was smart enough to build something legitimate if I stopped being a coward. Lucian's laugh is hollow. No one had ever called me a coward before. I almost killed him for it, but something about the way he said it, like he actually believed I could be more than a thug with a gun, it got under my skin. So instead of putting a bullet in his head, I hired him. He turns back to face Selena. For 18 years, your father pushed me to be better, to think bigger, to transform violence into influence, and influence into legitimate power. Every time I wanted to solve a problem with bloodshed, Adrian found another way. Every time I fell back into old patterns, he called me out. He was my conscience, Selena, my moral compass, the only person who ever held me accountable. Tears stream down Selena's face. And you got him killed. The accusation hangs in the air between them. Lucian's expression doesn't change. Yes, I did. The admission is worse than an argument, worse than excuses or justifications or any defense he could offer, because it's the truth, raw and terrible and undeniable. I'll never forgive you, Selena whispers. I don't expect you to. I'll hate you for the rest of my life. I know. You should have died instead of him. Lucian's eyes close briefly. When they open again, the pain in them is naked and absolute. I know. Selena's legs give out. She sinks onto the nearby couch, her body folding in on itself. The coffee sits untouched on the table. The Chicago skyline glitters indifferently outside the windows. And somewhere in this impossible moment, she realizes something that makes everything worse. Lucian Moretti is telling the truth. He loved her father. Maybe not the same way she did, not with the bone-deep connection of blood and childhood and shared history, but he loved Adrian Vale in his own broken, desperate way. Loved him enough to cry, loved him enough to let that love change him, loved him enough to stand here now accepting every ounce of Selena's hatred without defending himself. The realization doesn't make her hate him less, but it makes the hatred more complicated. I need you to leave me alone, Selena says quietly. I can't be near you right now. Lucian nods. There's a guest room down the hall. Second door on the right. Clean clothes in the closet. Lock on the door if you need it. I'll be in my office if I'm not staying. It's almost 3 a.m. You're in shock. You haven't eaten or slept. At least rest for a few hours before I don't take orders from you. Selena's voice is sharp. I'm not one of your employees. I'm not part of your world. I'm leaving. She stands up too fast. The room tilts. Lucian reaches out to steady her, but she jerks away from his touch, her vision swimming. Selena, don't. She backs toward the elevator, her legs unsteady. Don't follow me. Don't call me. Don't ever contact me again. I don't want anything from you except the truth about who killed my father. Lucian goes very still. You don't want that information. Tell me. No. Tell me who killed him. Her voice rises. Tell me their name, their address, everything. Absolutely not. You owe me. I owe your father everything. Lucien's voice is hard now, edged with steel, which is why I'm not giving his daughter ammunition to destroy her own life. Adrian spent 18 years trying to build you a future outside this world. I'm not letting you throw that away for revenge. Selena's hands curl into fists. It's not your decision. You're right, it's not. Lucien moves to block the elevator. But I'm not giving you that information. Hunt me, hate me, blame me, but I won't help you become what your father spent his whole life protecting you from. The words hit like a slap. Get out of my way. Sleep here tonight, please. Then tomorrow I'll have someone drive you home. But don't go back out there alone, not like this. Not when... When what? Selena demands. When I might do something stupid? When I might get myself killed trying to find answers? You don't get to care about what happens to me. You don't get to pretend you're protecting me the way you failed to protect him. Lucien's face goes pale. The shot lands exactly where she aimed it. You're right, he says quietly. I don't deserve to care about you, but Adrian would want me to try. The elevator dings. The doors slide open behind him. Lucien doesn't move to stop her this time. Selena walks past him into the elevator. Her finger hovers over the button for the parking garage. But something makes her hesitate. Some terrible magnetic pull she doesn't understand and refuses to examine. He left something for you, Lucien says suddenly. Your father. He left instructions in his will, documents, letters, things he wanted you to have if anything happened to him. Selena's hand drops to her side. What kind of things? I don't know. Everything is with his lawyer. But there's one letter he asked me to keep. He said if he died, I should give it to you personally. The elevator doors start to close. Selena's hand shoots out to stop them. When? Her voice barely works. Whenever you're ready. Give it to me now. Lucien shakes his head. Not tonight. You're in shock. You need rest. Come back tomorrow, or the day after, or whenever. Give me the letter now, or I walk out of here and never come back. They stare at each other across the threshold. Lucien's jaw works. His hands flex at his sides. Finally, he nods once and steps back. Wait here. He disappears into another room. Selena stands frozen in the elevator doorway, her heart hammering. Part of her wants to run, wants to get in her car and drive until Chicago disappears in her rearview mirror, wants to escape this penthouse and this man and everything connected to the nightmare swallowing her alive. But her father left her a letter. Her father, who never did anything without reason. Her father, who planned for contingencies she didn't know existed. Her father, who apparently anticipated his own death and left instructions behind. Lucien returns carrying a sealed envelope. Her father's handwriting sprawls across the front. For Selena, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry, Bright Eyes. Selena's vision blurs. Her father's nickname for her, written in his distinctive scrawl, makes the grief surge up all over again. Her hands shake as she takes the envelope. Do you want to read it here? Lucien asks gently. Or, alone. The word comes out harsh. I need to read it alone. He nods. Guest room is still available if you need somewhere private. Or I can wait in my office while you... Stop being nice to me. Selena's voice cracks. Stop acting like you care. It makes this harder. I do care. The confession is quiet, but absolute. Not because I have any right to, but because Adrian would want someone to make sure you're okay, and I'm the only person here. The elevator dings again. This time, Selena doesn't stop the doors from closing. Second door on the right, Lucien calls as the gap narrows. Lock works. I won't bother you. The doors seal shut. The elevator doesn't move. Selena stands alone in the small metal box, staring at the envelope in her hands. Her father's last words. His final message to her. She can't do this. Can't break open whatever truth is waiting inside that sealed paper. Can't handle one more revelation on top of the grief already crushing her chest. But her finger presses the button for the penthouse anyway. The elevator climbs back up. The doors open. Lucien is gone. Vanished into one of the other rooms, giving her the space she demanded. The enormous penthouse feels even emptier now, more hollow, like an expensive mausoleum where the living go to hide from death. Selina finds the guest room easily. It's smaller than the main space, but still luxurious. King bed with clean white linens, attached bathroom with marble countertops, closet full of generic clothing in various sizes. The lock on the door is heavy and secure. She engages it with shaking hands. Then she sits on the edge of the bed and stares at her father's handwriting. For Selina, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry, Bright Eyes. Her thumb traces over the words. The paper is thick and expensive. The seal is unbroken. Whatever her father wanted her to know has been waiting in Lucian's keeping, protected, preserved for this exact terrible moment. Selina tears open the envelope. Inside is a single sheet of paper covered in her father's tight, efficient handwriting. No date, no formal greeting, just words that blur and swim as tears flood her vision, but she forces herself to read anyway. And what she reads changes everything. The letter trembles in Selina's hands. Her father's handwriting blurs and sharpens as tears stream down her face, but she forces herself to read every word. Bright Eyes, if you're reading this, then I'm gone, and I'm sorry. Not for dying. That was always a possibility in this line of work. I'm sorry for leaving you alone with questions I should have answered while I was still breathing. You're probably angry right now. At me. At Lucien. At the entire goddamn world. That's okay. Be angry. Scream. Break things. Hate me for a while if you need to. But when the anger burns itself out, I need you to understand something. Lucien Moretti is not the monster you think he is. I know what the newspapers say. I know what the police files claim. I know the rumors that follow him through every dark corner of this city. Most of them are true. Lucien has done terrible things. He's hurt people. He's built an empire on foundations that would make decent folks sick to their stomachs. But he's also the best friend I ever had. 19 years ago, I met a kid who was drowning in violence he didn't know how to escape. The streets made him brutal, because brutality was the only language that kept him alive. But underneath all that rage and blood, there was someone worth saving. Someone smart enough to build something real. Someone capable of more than just survival. I spent 18 years helping him become that person. It wasn't easy. There were days I wanted to walk away. Days I questioned everything. Days I wondered if I was wasting my life trying to polish a stone that would never shine. But then there were the other days. The days when Lucien chose mercy over violence. The days when he invested in neighborhoods instead of burning them down. The days when I saw him transform into the man I always believed he could be. That transformation is fragile, Selina. It requires constant pressure, constant guidance, constant belief from someone who refuses to give up on him. That person was me. Now it needs to be you. I know what I'm asking. I know how unfair it sounds. You didn't choose this life. You didn't sign up to care about a man whose past is soaked in blood. You owe Lucien Moretti absolutely nothing. But if I'm gone, he's going to break. He's going to fall back into old patterns. He's going to become exactly what the world expects him to be. Because without someone to believe in him, he doesn't believe in himself. You're the only person who can stop that from happening. Not because you're related to me, not because you owe him anything, but because you have your mother's heart, the part of her that saw broken things and refused to walk away, the part that made her fall in love with an ex-cop working private security who had more scars than sense. Lucien is going to push you away. He's going to tell you to run. He's going to insist you deserve better than his damaged world. Don't listen to him. He's terrified of dragging you into darkness the way he dragged me. But here's what he doesn't understand. You're not me. You're stronger, smarter, capable of things I never was. And if you choose to stay, if you choose to believe in him the way I did, you won't be saving a criminal. You'll be saving the best man I ever knew. Trust him, Bright Eyes. Even when it's hard, even when it doesn't make sense. Trust him the way I did. I love you. Always. Dad. Selina reads the letter 3 times, then 4. Each pass makes her chest tighter and her thoughts more tangled. Her father's words loop through her mind like a record skipping on the same impossible verse. Trust him. Trust the man whose world killed her father. Trust a criminal who admits to murder and violence and everything decent people spend their lives avoiding. Trust Lucien Moretti. She wants to rip the letter into pieces. wants to scream at the paper in her hands that her father was wrong, that 19 years of loyalty blinded him to reality, that you can't save someone who doesn't want saving, that some stones are too stained with blood to ever shine. But her father's handwriting stares back at her, steady and certain. You're the only person who can stop that from happening. Fuck. The word escapes her lips like a prayer. She presses her palms against her eyes until stars burst behind her eyelids. Her head throbs. Her body aches. Every muscle feels bruised and exhausted. She should leave. Should walk out of this penthouse and never look back. Should let Lucien Moretti drown in whatever darkness is waiting for him without her father's steady hand to pull him back. But she can't stop hearing her father's voice in every sentence. Trust him, Bright Eyes. Selena folds the letter carefully and tucks it back into the envelope. Her hands are steadier now. Her breathing has slowed. The grief is still there, crushing and absolute, but beneath it something else stirs. Something harder. Something that tastes like obligation and fury and the terrible weight of her father's final request. She unlocks the door. The penthouse is quiet. No sound comes from Lucien's office or any of the other rooms. The city glitters beyond the windows like scattered diamonds on black velvet. Selena moves through the space slowly, her bare feet silent on expensive hardwood. She finds Lucien in his office. He sits behind a massive desk covered in files and documents, and a laptop showing security camera feeds from various locations across the city. His white shirt is still stained with Adrian's blood. His tie is gone. His sleeves are rolled up to his elbows, revealing forearms marked with old scars. He doesn't look up when she enters. His attention is fixed on a particular monitor showing grainy footage of a rooftop somewhere in downtown Chicago. He watches the same 30-second loop over and over, a figure in dark clothing raising a rifle, the muzzle flash, the figure disappearing. You should be sleeping, Lucien says without taking his eyes off the screen. You should be burning that shirt. Can't. His voice is flat, empty. It's evidence. Selena steps closer. From this angle, she can see his face more clearly, the dark circles under his eyes, the tension in his jaw, the way his hands grip the desk edge hard enough to make his knuckles white. Evidence for what? She asks. For when I find the people responsible. Lucien finally looks at her. His amber eyes are cold now, merciless. For when I make them understand exactly what it costs to kill Adrian Vale. A chill runs down Selena's spine. This is the man the newspapers write about. The man police files describe as extremely dangerous and shows no remorse. This is the crime lord who built an empire on fear and violence and the absolute certainty that crossing him meant death. Is that what my father would want? The question comes out sharper than she intends. Lucien's expression doesn't change. No. Then why? Because I'm not your father. He turns back to the monitor. Adrian was a good man. Better than I'll ever be. He believed in justice and mercy and second chances. He spent 18 years trying to teach me those values. The loop plays again. Muzzle flash, figure disappearing. But he's dead now, Lucien continues softly. And all those noble ideals died with him. So I'm going to do what I do best. Hunt down everyone involved in his murder and make them wish they'd never been born. Selena's fingers tighten around her father's letter. He left me instructions, too. Lucien goes very still. What kind of instructions? He told me to trust you. The words land like a gunshot. Lucien's head snaps toward her. For a moment, genuine shock breaks through his cold mask. Then it's gone, replaced by something that looks almost like pain. Your father was wrong, he says roughly. Was he? Yes. Lucien stands up abruptly. His chair scrapes against the floor. You should get as far away from me as possible, Selena. Go back to your normal life, your safe life. Forget you ever met me. That's what Adrian would actually want. According to the letter, what he actually wanted was for me to stay. He wasn't thinking clearly. Lucien moves to the window, his back rigid. He was planning for contingencies, writing worst-case scenarios. He didn't actually believe. He knew exactly what he was doing. Selena's voice rises. He knew you'd fall apart without him. He knew you'd need someone to keep you from becoming the monster everyone thinks you are. And he knew I was the only person who could do it. You're not responsible for saving me. I know that. You don't owe me anything. I know that too. Then why are you still here? Lucian spins to face her. Anger flashes in his eyes, anger and fear and something desperate. Why aren't you running as fast as you can from the man who got your father killed? The question hangs between them. Selina takes a breath, then another. Her father's words echo through her mind. Trust him, Bright Eyes. Because he asked me to, she says finally. Because my father spent his last thoughts worrying about what would happen to you. Because apparently he loved you enough to sacrifice his life for yours, and then ask me to keep making that same sacrifice. Her voice cracks. I hate that, she continues. I hate that. Tears stream down her face. But I'm here anyway, because he was my father, and because he never asked me for anything in his entire life except this one impossible thing. Lucian stares at her. His chest rises and falls with controlled breaths. His hands curl into fists at his sides. When he finally speaks, his voice is barely audible. I don't deserve that kind of loyalty. I know. I'll only hurt you. Probably. You should hate me. I do hate you. Selina wipes her face with the back of her hand. I hate you so much I can barely breathe. But apparently that doesn't matter, because my father asked me to trust you, and I've never refused him anything. The confession breaks something in Lucian's carefully controlled expression. He looks away sharply, his jaw working. When he speaks again, his voice is raw. Adrian talked about you all the time, every single day. What you were working on, what made you laugh, how proud he was of the woman you became. He pauses. He also told me about your mother, how she died when you were 6, how you grew up without her, how Adrian raised you alone because he refused to let grief destroy what was left of his family. Selina's throat tightens. He said you inherited her strength, Lucian continues, her stubborn refusal to abandon people she loved, even when walking away would be easier. He was terrified you'd inherited that particular quality, terrified it would get you hurt someday. It already has. Lucian's eyes snap back to hers. What? Loving people who live dangerous lives. It already got me hurt. It got me a childhood where my father came home with bruises he wouldn't explain. It got me sleepless nights wondering if tonight was the night he wouldn't come home at all. It got me 18 years of being terrified every time my phone rang after midnight. Her voice rises. And now it got me a father who died protecting someone else, who chose your life over his own, who left me alone because apparently your survival was more important than mine. The accusation hits Lucien like a physical blow. He staggers back half a step. I'm sorry, he whispers. Christ, Selina, I'm so sorry. I don't want your apology. Her hands shake. I want my father back. I want to undo the last 12 hours. I want to wake up and discover this whole nightmare was just... Her voice breaks completely. Lucien crosses the distance between them in 3 strides. His arms wrap around her shoulders carefully, like he's afraid she'll shatter. Selina should push him away, should maintain the anger that's the only thing keeping her upright, should hate him the way she promised herself she would. But she's so tired, so impossibly, completely exhausted. So she lets herself collapse against his chest and sob into his blood-stained shirt while Chicago glitters indifferently outside the windows. They stand like that for a long time. Minutes blur into each other. Lucien doesn't speak, doesn't offer empty comfort or meaningless platitudes. He just holds her while she breaks apart, his hand steady against her spine. Finally, Selina pulls back. Her face is swollen and blotchy. Her eyes burn. She probably looks like hell, but she's too drained to care. I need coffee, she says hoarsely. I'll make some. And food. Real food. Not whatever rich people eat. The corner of Lucien's mouth twitches. Adrian said the exact same thing the first time he came up here. Called my kitchen aggressively useless and made me install a real stove. Despite everything, a small laugh escapes Selina's chest. It sounds broken and wrong, but almost human. They move to the kitchen together. Lucien starts coffee while Selina collapses into a chair at the island. She watches him move through the space with efficient precision, measuring grounds, adjusting temperature, his movements controlled despite the exhaustion weighing down his shoulders. When did you last sleep? She asks. 36 hours ago? Lucien doesn't look up from the coffee maker. Maybe longer. Time's gotten weird. You look like death. I feel worse. The coffee maker hisses and burbles. The smell fills the kitchen, bitter and strong and almost comforting. Lucian pulls eggs and bread from the refrigerator, along with cheese and vegetables that look too fresh to belong to someone who survives on takeout. Adrian did the grocery shopping, he says, apparently reading her expression. Every Sunday morning, he'd show up with bags full of ingredients and lecture me about nutrition like I was 12 years old. Selena's chest tightens. He did the same thing to me. He was relentless about it. Once he made me eat kale for a week straight because I mentioned feeling tired. He tried that with me too. Lucien cracks eggs into a bowl. I told him I'd rather die young than eat rabbit food. He called me a dramatic child and made kale salad anyway. They fall quiet. The eggs sizzle in the pan. Lucien works with surprising skill, chopping vegetables with precise knife strokes, seasoning by instinct rather than measurement. The domesticity of it all feels surreal. Wrong. Like watching a tiger cook breakfast in an apron. My father taught you how to cook, Selena says. It's not a question. He taught me a lot of things. Lucien slides an omelet onto a plate. How to balance a checkbook properly. How to negotiate without threatening violence. How to tell when someone's lying by watching their hands instead of their face. He sets the plate in front of her. How to make a decent omelet so I didn't live on protein bars and whiskey. Selena picks up her fork. The food looks better than anything she could make herself. She takes a bite and tastes cheese, peppers, perfectly seasoned eggs. It's good. Really good. He was a better man than I deserved, Lucien says quietly. He doesn't make food for himself. Just leans against the counter with his coffee mug, staring at nothing. Every day he worked for me, I knew I was stealing time he should have spent with you. Every risk he took was one step closer to this exact outcome. I should have fired him years ago. Should have forced him to quit. He wouldn't have gone. Selena cuts him off. My father was stubborn as hell. If you'd fired him, he would have just followed you around anyway, probably for free. Lucian's mouth twists into something that might be a smile under different circumstances. Yeah, he would have. Why? The question escapes before Selena can stop it. Why did he care so much about you? What made you worth 18 years of his life? Lucien is quiet for a long moment. His fingers tighten around his coffee mug. When he finally speaks, his voice is careful, measured. When I was 16 years old, my father put a gun in my hand and told me to kill someone. A rival dealer who'd crossed into our territory. Kid was maybe 19, scared out of his mind, begging for his life. Selena stops eating. I pulled the trigger, Lucien continues. His eyes are distant now, lost in memory. Because that's what you did in my world. You killed or you died. There was no middle ground, no mercy, no second chances. He sets down his mug. I killed 10 more people over the next 8 years, each one easier than the last, each one proving I was my father's son. By the time I was 24, I ran the most feared operation on the South Side. People crossed the street when they saw me coming. Mothers pulled their children inside when my cars drove past. I was exactly what the world expected me to be. His jaw tightens. Then I met Adrian, and for the first time in my life, someone looked at me and didn't see a monster. They saw a kid who'd been taught violence before he learned to read. A kid who never had a choice about what he became. A kid who might still be capable of something better if someone bothered to show him how. Lucian's eyes refocus on Selena. Your father saved my life by refusing to give up on it. Every time I fell back into old patterns, he was there to pull me out. Every time I wanted to solve a problem with bloodshed, he found another way. For 18 years, Adrian Vale was the only reason I didn't become exactly what my father was, a violent criminal who died bloody and alone. He pauses. So when that bullet came at me yesterday, Adrian didn't hesitate, because that's who he was. Someone who saw broken things and refused to stop believing they could be fixed. Tears stream down Selena's face. She doesn't bother wiping them away. Do you know what his last words were? Lucien's voice cracks. He looked at me while he was bleeding out on that rooftop and said, "Don't waste this." That's it. Not goodbye. Not tell my daughter I love her. Just, don't waste this. Like his death was an investment he expected me to honor. The confession breaks him. Lucien's carefully controlled mask shatters. His shoulders shake. He turns away sharply, but not before Selena sees tears streaming down his face. She stands up, crosses the kitchen, puts her hand on his shoulder. Lucien flinches at the contact, but doesn't pull away. He didn't blame you. Selena says quietly. If those were his last words, then he didn't blame you for what happened. He was thinking about your future, about making sure his death meant something. It shouldn't have happened at all. Lucian's voice is ragged. I should have been more careful. Should have had better security. Should have seen the threat before. Oh, stop. Selena's grip tightens. You can't rewrite history. You can't go back and change what happened. All you can do is exactly what he asked. Don't waste it. Lucien turns to face her. His eyes are red and swollen. His face is drawn with exhaustion and grief. He looks nothing like the untouchable crime lord who commands an empire through fear. He looks human. I don't know how to do this without him, he whispers. I don't know how to be the man he believed I could be when the only person who ever believed it is gone. The vulnerability in his voice cuts straight through Selena's defenses. This is what her father saw. This is the person worth saving, not the criminal empire or the dangerous reputation. Just a man drowning in grief and terror that he'll fall back into darkness without a compass to guide him home. Then I'll help you, Selena hears herself say. Lucian's eyes widen. What? I'll help you. The words come faster now, fueled by adrenaline and exhaustion and the terrible weight of her father's final request. I'll stay, not forever, not permanently, but long enough to make sure you honor his sacrifice, long enough to keep you from becoming what he spent 18 years preventing. Selena, you can't. I can do whatever I want. Her voice hardens. And what I want is to make sure my father didn't die for nothing. So I'm staying. I'm going to watch you, challenge you, push you the way he did. And if you start falling back into old patterns, I'm going to pull you out of them. Lucian stares at her like she's speaking a foreign language. This is insane, he says finally. I know. You barely know me. I know enough. You hate me. Completely. Selena doesn't flinch. I hate you for being alive when my father isn't. I hate you for building a world dangerous enough to get him killed. I hate you for asking him to take risks that should never have been necessary. She takes a breath. But my father loved you, and he asked me to trust you, so I'm going to try. Not because I want to, not because it makes sense, but because he never asked me for anything else, and I'll be damned if his final request goes unfulfilled. The declaration hangs between them. Outside, dawn begins breaking over Chicago. Pink and gold light spills across the skyline, transforming steel and glass into something almost beautiful. The city wakes up. People start their morning routines. Life continues despite the grief crushing two strangers in a penthouse above it all. Lucien's phone buzzes. He glances at the screen and his expression hardens. I need to take this, he says roughly. It's about the investigation. Then take it. He hesitates. Selena, I'm not leaving. Take the call. Lucian holds her gaze for another moment. Then he steps into his office and closes the door. Selena hears his voice rise and fall through the walls. Sharp commands and hard questions delivered in the tone of someone who expects absolute obedience. She's alone again. The omelet sits half-eaten on the counter. Coffee grows cold in forgotten mugs. Selena moves back to the windows and stares at the city her father died protecting. Somewhere out there, the person who killed him is still breathing, still walking free, still alive while Adrian Vale lies cold and dead. The fury returns. Not hot and explosive like before. This anger is cold, calculated, the kind that burns steady and long. Her father asked her to trust Lucien. And he didn't ask her to forgive the people responsible for his death. Selena pulls out her phone. Her hands are steadier now. Her thoughts clearer. She opens a new message to her father's lawyer, a woman named Patricia Chen who handled all his legal affairs. This is Selena Vale. My father is dead. I need to see his will immediately. Everything he left behind, every document, every file, every piece of information about his work for Lucien Moretti. She hits send before she can second-guess herself. The response comes within minutes. I'm so sorry for your loss. I can meet you tomorrow at 10 a.m. My office. I'll have everything prepared. Selena types back. I'll be there. She tucks her phone away. Through the office door, she can still hear Lucian's voice, harder now, edged with violence. He's hunting, tracking, following whatever trail led to her father's murder. Part of her wants to stop him, wants to honor Adrian's belief in mercy and justice and second chances. But another part of her, the part that inherited her mother's stubborn loyalty and her father's unwavering determination, wants to let Lucien burn the entire city down until he finds the person responsible. She doesn't know which impulse to trust. The office door opens. Lucien emerges looking even more exhausted than before. His eyes find Selina immediately. "They found the shooter," he says. His voice is flat, empty. "Dead. Single gunshot to the head, professional execution. Someone made sure he couldn't talk." Selina's stomach drops. What does that mean? It means this wasn't random. Someone hired that shooter specifically to kill Adrian, then they eliminated the loose end before he could be questioned. Lucien's hands curl into fists. This was planned, organized, professional. Who would want my father dead? That's what I'm going to find out. The promise in his voice is absolute. Every enemy I've made in the last 19 years, every rival organization, every grudge holder who might want revenge, I'm going to tear this city apart until I find them. And then what? Selina demands. You kill them? Start a war? Prove you're exactly the monster my father spent 18 years trying to change? Lucien's eyes flash. They killed Adrian. I know. They murdered him in cold blood. I know that too. Then what the hell do you expect me to do? His voice rises. Let them walk away. Pretend it didn't happen. Your father is dead because someone wanted to hurt me. I'm not going to just... You're going to find them, Selina interrupts. Her voice is hard, cold. You're going to hunt down everyone involved. You're going to gather every piece of evidence, every name, every connection. She steps closer. And then you're going to let me decide what happens next. Lucien stares at her. What? He was my father. The words come out sharp as broken glass. My blood. My family. If anyone has the right to decide how this ends, it's me. Not you. Me. Selina, promise me. She doesn't look away. Promise me you won't do anything until I know everything, until I see the evidence, until I understand exactly who's responsible and why. Lucien's jaw works. His hands flex at his sides. For a moment, she thinks he'll refuse, that the crime lord who built an empire on violence and fear will dismiss her demand and do whatever he wants. But then he nods. Okay, he says quietly. I'll find them. I'll gather everything. And then we'll decide together. The agreement settles between them like a contract signed in blood. Selina should feel relieved, should feel like she won some kind of victory. But all she feels is hollow, empty. Like grief scooped out everything vital and left behind just enough anger to keep her standing. I need to go home, she says. Get clean clothes, process all of this. I'll come back tomorrow after I meet with my father's lawyer. I'll have someone drive you. I can drive myself. You haven't slept in 24 hours. Lucien's voice is firm. You're in shock. You're exhausted. Let my driver take you home, please. Selina wants to argue, wants to maintain her independence, but he's right. She's too drained to trust herself behind a wheel. Fine. Lucien makes a call. Within minutes, a black SUV pulls up to the building's front entrance. The driver is a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and a professional demeanor. She doesn't ask questions, doesn't offer sympathy, just holds the door open and waits for Selina to climb inside. Before the door closes, Lucien leans down to the window. If you need anything, he says quietly, anything at all, call me, day or night. I don't care what time it is or what you need. Call me. Selina nods. She doesn't trust her voice. The SUV pulls away from the tower. She watches Lucien's figure shrink in the side mirror until he disappears completely. Then she leans her head against the cool glass and closes her eyes. Her father is dead. She just promised to help save the man responsible. And somewhere in this nightmare city, the people who actually pulled the trigger are still breathing. The fury burns steady and cold in her chest. Her father asked her to trust Lucien Moretti. He never said anything about trusting his mercy. What? The next morning arrives too quickly. Selina stands in her apartment bathroom staring at her reflection, dark circles under her eyes, skin pale and drawn, hair tangled from a night of restless half-sleep. She looks like someone who died and forgot to stop walking. Patricia Chen's law office occupies the 15th floor of a building in the financial district. Selina arrives exactly at 10, her hands clutching a coffee she can't drink and her stomach twisted into knots. The receptionist leads her to a private conference room. Patricia is already waiting, a sharp-eyed woman in her 50s with silver-streaked hair and an expression that manages to convey both sympathy and professional competence. Selina. Patricia stands and extends her hand. I'm so deeply sorry about your father. Adrian was a remarkable man. Thank you. The words taste like ash. They sit across from each other. A thick folder rests on the table between them. Patricia's hands rest on top of it like she's guarding secrets. Your father updated his will 6 months ago, Patricia begins. He was very specific about his wishes, very thorough. He wanted to make sure you were taken care of if anything happened to him. What did he leave me? Patricia opens the folder. Inside are documents and files and photographs Selina doesn't recognize. Her father's entire life reduced to paper and ink. Everything, Patricia says simply. His savings, his pension, his life insurance policy. The total comes to just over $2 million. Selina's breath catches. What? Your father was an extremely frugal man. He lived modestly, invested wisely, and apparently saved almost everything he earned over the last 18 years. Patricia slides a document across the table. This is the account information. Everything transfers to you automatically. $2 million. Her father, who drove a 10-year-old Toyota and wore the same 5 shirts on rotation, who lived in a modest apartment and brought lunch from home every day, who never took vacations or bought expensive things or showed any sign of wealth. He'd been quietly building her a future. There's more, Patricia continues. She pulls out another document. Your father also left instructions regarding his work with Lucien Moretti. Selina's attention sharpens. What kind of instructions? He kept detailed records. Every job, every operation, every decision made over the last 18 years. Names, dates, financial transactions, security protocols, everything. Patricia's expression is carefully neutral. He stored all of it in a secure location. Only you and Lucien Moretti have access. Why would he document all of that? Insurance, Patricia says simply. Your father was many things, but he wasn't naive. He understood the world he worked in. He wanted to make sure if anything happened to him, you would have leverage, protection, information that could keep you safe. Selina's mind races. Safe from what? From whoever might blame you for your father's knowledge. From people who might see you as a loose end. From Lucien Moretti himself if he ever became a threat. Patricia leans forward. Your father loved Lucien, believed in him. But he also understood that loyalty doesn't make someone safe, so he gave you insurance. The implications hit Selina like a freight train. Her father documented everything, which means she now holds 18 years of evidence against one of Chicago's most powerful criminals. Which means she has leverage, power, the ability to destroy Lucien Moretti completely if she chooses. Where are these records? Selina's voice is steady despite her racing heart. Patricia slides a key across the table. Safety deposit box at First National Bank, downtown branch, box 847. Everything is waiting for you. Selina picks up the key. It's small and ordinary looking. Nothing about it suggests the weight it carries. Your father left one more thing, Patricia says quietly. She pulls out a sealed envelope. He wrote this 2 months ago, said to give it to you only if he died. Another letter. Selina takes it with shaking hands. Her father's handwriting sprawls across the front. For Selina, Part 2. Do you want privacy to read it? Patricia asks gently. No. Selina tears open the envelope. I need to know now. The letter inside is shorter this time. Just a few paragraphs in her father's tight script. Bright Eyes. If you're reading this, you've already read my first letter. You know I asked you to trust Lucien, to help him, to be the compass. I won't be able to be anymore. But I'm not a fool. I know asking you to trust someone doesn't make them trustworthy. So I'm giving you the tools to protect yourself. In box 847 at First National Bank, you'll find 18 years of documentation. Everything Lucien Moretti has done, both legal and illegal. Every deal, every decision, every skeleton in every closet. If he ever threatens you, use it. If he ever tries to hurt you, use it. If he ever becomes the monster he used to be, use it to destroy him completely. I trust Lucien with my life. I'm asking you to trust him with yours. But I'm also giving you a loaded gun pointed at his head, just in case. Stay safe, Bright Eyes. And remember, you owe him nothing. If staying means sacrificing yourself, walk away. He's not worth your life. I love you, Dad. Selena reads the letter 3 times. Her father's voice echoes through every word, protective and pragmatic and utterly clear-eyed about the risks he was asking her to take. He wanted her to trust Lucian, but he also wanted her to have the power to annihilate him if necessary. Did you know about this? Selena asks Patricia. About the documentation? I knew your father kept records. I didn't know the extent of them. Patricia's expression is carefully neutral. But I can guess. Adrian Vale was meticulous. If he documented Lucian Moretti's operations, it's because he wanted to ensure your safety above all else. Selena folds the letter and tucks it into her purse alongside the key. Her mind is racing through implications and possibilities, and the sudden, terrible weight of power she didn't ask for. She could destroy Lucian, could hand all that documentation to the FBI and watch his empire collapse, could make him pay for every crime he's ever committed, could ensure he spends the rest of his life in a prison cell. Her father gave her that choice, but he also asked her to trust him. The contradiction is dizzying. I need to go, Selena says abruptly. She stands up, her chair scraping against the floor. Thank you for everything. Of course. Patricia stands as well. If you need anything, legal advice, help accessing the accounts, someone to review the documentation, call me. Your father was a friend. I'd like to help his daughter however I can. Selena nods. She doesn't trust her voice. She leaves the office in a daze. The elevator ride down feels like falling. By the time she reaches the street, her phone is already ringing. Lucian's name appears on the screen. She stares at it for 3 rings before answering. We need to talk, Lucian says without preamble. His voice is tight, controlled. I found something. What kind of something? Not over the phone. Can you come to the tower? Selena's hand tightens around the phone. The key to her father's safety deposit box burns like fire in her pocket. She could go to the bank right now, could retrieve the documentation, could read through 18 years of evidence and decide whether Lucian Moretti deserves the trust her father asked her to give. Or she could go to him first, could hear what he found, could try to honor her father's belief that this man is worth saving. I'll be there in 20 minutes, she says. Selena, Lucian pauses. Thank you. The line goes dead. Selena stands on the sidewalk watching traffic flow past. People hurry by on their way to normal jobs and normal lives. None of them know that Adrian Vale died 2 days ago. None of them care. The world just keeps spinning like nothing happened. She should go to the bank, should retrieve the evidence before Lucian discovers it exists, should protect herself the way her father intended. Instead, she hails a cab and gives the driver the address for Moretti Tower, because her father asked her to trust Lucian, and because she's not ready to destroy him until she understands exactly who he is. The cab drops her at the tower's entrance 23 minutes later. The same security guard from 2 nights ago recognizes her immediately and waves her through without questions. The elevator ride up feels endless. By the time the doors open on the penthouse level, Selena's heart is hammering. Lucian is waiting in his office. He's changed clothes, clean shirt, fresh tie, hair combed back, but his face is drawn with exhaustion and his eyes are bloodshot. You look terrible, Selena says. Haven't slept. Lucian gestures to a chair. Sit, please. She sits. Lucien remains standing, his hands braced on his desk. Between them is a laptop showing surveillance footage and a stack of printed documents. I found the organization responsible for hiring your father's killer, Lucian says without preamble. It took all night. I called in every favor I had, leaned on every contact, but I found them. Selena's breath stops. Who? The Volkov Bratva, Russian organized crime syndicate operating out of the North Side. They've been trying to move into my territory for the last 2 years. I've blocked them at every turn. He taps the laptop screen. 3 months ago, they approached Adrian, offered him $5 million to walk away from me. Leave me vulnerable. Let them make their move. Selena's stomach turns. What did my father say? He told them to go to hell. Lucien's voice is hard. Then he warned me about the approach. We tightened security, increased surveillance, made it clear that betraying me would have consequences. He pulls up another file. The Volkovs responded by putting a hit on Adrian. Not me, Adrian specifically. They wanted to send a message. To prove that loyalty to me comes with a price. Selena's hands curl into fists. You're sure? Completely. I have phone records, financial transactions, testimony from 3 separate sources. Lucian's eyes meet hers. The order came from Dmitry Volkov himself. He personally contracted the shooter. He personally ordered the follow-up execution to eliminate the witness. The fury in Selena's chest explodes into something white-hot and consuming. Where is he? Her voice is, Where is he? Selena's voice cuts through the air like a blade. Her hands grip the armrests of her chair hard enough to make the leather creak. Every muscle in her body is coiled tight, ready to spring. Lucien's expression doesn't change. He's protected. The Bratva has him locked down in a compound on the north side. 24-hour security, armed guards. The entire operation is designed to keep people like me from getting anywhere near him. Then we break through the security. Selena, we find him. We make him pay for what he did to my father. Her voice rises. You said you'd find them. You found them. Now we finish this. Lucian moves around the desk slowly. His movements are controlled, but she can see the tension in his shoulders, the way his jaw works. He's holding something back. It's not that simple, he says carefully. Why not? Because going after Dmitry Volkov means war, real war. Not the controlled territorial disputes we've had for the last 2 years. I'm talking about bloodshed on every corner, civilians caught in crossfire, police crackdowns that hurt everyone. He stops in front of her. Your father spent 18 years trying to keep me from starting that kind of war. He believed there were better ways to handle conflict. The words hit Selena like a slap. My father is dead because of Dmitry Volkov, she says through clenched teeth. He doesn't get to hide behind the fear of consequences. He doesn't get to walk away from this. I'm not saying he walks away. Lucien's voice is hard now. I'm saying we need to be smart about this, strategic. We gather more evidence. We find leverage. We dismantle the Bratva piece by piece until Volkov has nowhere left to hide. How long will that take? Months? Maybe longer? No. Selena stands abruptly. The chair scrapes against the floor. Absolutely not. Every day that man breathes is an insult to my father's memory. Every hour he walks free is justice denied. This isn't about justice. Lucien's amber eyes pin her in place. This is about revenge. And revenge makes you sloppy, gets you killed. Your father understood that. He always chose the long game over immediate satisfaction. My father is dead. The words rip out of Selena's throat. He doesn't get to make decisions anymore. I do. And I'm telling you, I want Dmitry Volkov to pay for what he did. Now. Not months from now. Now. Lucian stares at her. Something shifts in his expression. Recognition, maybe, or understanding. He sees the fury burning through her veins. The desperate need for action. That's the only thing keeping grief from swallowing her whole. If we do this, he says quietly, there's no going back. Once we move against Volkov directly, the entire city will feel the consequences. People will die. Innocent people. And you'll have to live with that. I'll live with it. Selena's voice doesn't waver. As long as Volkov dies too. The declaration hangs between them. Outside the windows, Chicago sprawls beneath gray morning clouds. The city looks peaceful from this height. Orderly. Like violence and grief are distant concepts that don't touch the streets below. Lucien's phone buzzes. He glances at the screen and his expression hardens further. We have a bigger problem, he says. What now? The FBI is sniffing around Adrian's death. They're calling it suspicious, asking questions about his connection to me, about why he was on that rooftop. Lucien's jaw tightens. Someone tipped them off, gave them information that points directly at my organization. Selena's stomach drops. The Bratva? Probably. It's a smart move. They kill Adrian, then use his death to bring federal heat down on me. 2 birds, 1 bullet. He sets his phone down with controlled precision. If the FBI builds a case, everything falls apart. My legitimate businesses. The operations Adrian helped me clean up. Everything we've worked toward for 18 years. Then we need to move fast. No, we need to be careful. Lucian's voice is sharp now. The FBI is watching One wrong move and they'll have everything they need to bury me, which means we can't go after Volkov directly. We need to find another way. Selina's hands curl into fists. There is no other way. There's always another way. Your father taught me that. Stop telling me what my father would want. The words explode out of her. You don't get to use his memory as a leash. You don't get to hide behind his principles when the man who murdered him is still breathing. Lucien flinches. The hit lands exactly where she aimed it. You're right, he says quietly. I don't get to use Adrian's memory as an excuse for inaction, but I also can't ignore 18 years of lessons just because you want immediate revenge. It's not about what I want. It's about what he deserves. And what does he deserve, Selina? Really? Lucien steps closer. Does Adrian Vale deserve to have his daughter throw her life away on vengeance? Does he deserve to watch you become exactly what he spent his whole life protecting you from? The question cuts deep. Selina wants to argue, wants to rage against the logic in Lucien's words, but somewhere beneath the fury and grief, a small voice whispers that he might be right. Her father wouldn't want this, wouldn't want her consumed by revenge, wouldn't want her turning into someone who solves problems with violence and bloodshed. But that small voice is drowned out by the roar of pain in her chest. I need air, Selina says abruptly. She moves toward the windows. I need to think. Lucien doesn't follow. He stays by the desk, giving her space. The silence between them stretches taut. Selina presses her forehead against the cold glass. Below, the city moves through its morning routine. Cars inch through traffic. People hurry along sidewalks. Life continues exactly as it did before Adrian Vale died. The world didn't stop, didn't pause, didn't even slow down. Her father is gone, and nothing changed. The realization makes her want to scream. Her phone buzzes in her pocket. She pulls it out and sees a text from an unknown number. You want to know the truth about your father's death? Meet me at Millennium Park, North End, 1 hour. Come alone. Selina's breath catches. She reads the message 3 times. What is it? Lucien's voice comes from behind her. She almost shows him, almost holds up the phone and asks what he thinks, but something stops her, some instinct she can't name. Nothing, she lies. Just my father's lawyer following up. Lucien accepts the answer without question. He's already turning back to his laptop, his attention shifting to the security footage still playing on the screen. Selina tucks her phone away. Her heart hammers against her ribs. Someone wants to meet her. Someone who claims to have information about Adrian's death. It could be a trap. Could be the Bratva trying to eliminate another loose end. Could be anything. But it could also be answers. I need to go, Selina says. She keeps her voice steady. I have things to deal with. My father's apartment. His belongings. I need to do something. Lucien looks up. Concern flashes across his face. Do you want company? I can send someone with you. No, I need to do this alone. Selina, please. She cuts him off. Just let me have this. Let me handle my father's affairs without guards or protection or anyone watching over my shoulder. Lucien studies her face. For a moment she thinks he'll push back, that he'll insist on security or demand to know where she's really going, but then he nods. Okay. But call me if you need anything. I mean it. His voice is gentle. Day or night, whatever you need. Selina forces herself to meet his eyes. Thank you. She leaves before he can say anything else. The elevator ride down feels endless. Her mind races through possibilities and dangers and the terrible risk she's about to take. This could be a trap. Could get her killed. Could be the stupidest decision she's ever made. But she has to know. Has to understand what really happened to her father. The cab ride to Millennium Park takes 15 minutes. Selina spends every second of it watching the streets for signs of surveillance, for black SUVs or suspicious vehicles or anything that suggests Lucien didn't trust her enough to let her go alone. But the traffic looks normal. The crowds look ordinary. No one seems to be following her. She pays the cab driver in cash and steps out onto the sidewalk. Millennium Park stretches before her, green spaces and walking paths and the famous bean sculpture reflecting cloudy skies. Tourists wander past taking photos. Joggers navigate the paths. Everything looks peaceful. Selina makes her way to the north end. Her hands are shoved deep in her coat pockets. Her father's letter and the key to his safety deposit box weigh heavy against her thigh. A woman sits alone on a bench near the edge of the park. She's maybe 40, with dark hair pulled back severely and a sharp, angular face. She wears an expensive coat and designer sunglasses despite the overcast weather. She looks up as Selina approaches. "Selina Vale," the woman says. It's not a question. "Who are you?" "Someone who worked with your father." The woman gestures to the empty space on the bench. "Sit. We don't have much time." Selina sits slowly. Every instinct screams that this is dangerous, wrong, but she's already here, already committed. "What do you know about my father's death?" she asks. The woman is quiet for a moment. She watches the tourists and joggers like she's searching for threats. "Adrian Vale was a good man," she says finally. "One of the few left in this city. I respected him, trusted him, which is why I'm taking this risk to tell you the truth." "What truth?" The woman turns to face her. Even through the sunglasses, Selina can feel the weight of her stare. "Your father wasn't killed by the Bratva." The words hit like a physical blow. Selina's breath stops. "What?" "The Bratva didn't order the hit, didn't hire the shooter, didn't execute him afterward." The woman's voice is cold, clinical. "That's the story Lucien Moretti wants you to believe, but it's a lie." "You're lying." "Am I?" The woman pulls an envelope from her coat. Inside this are bank records, communications, evidence that proves the hit was ordered from inside Moretti's organization. Someone close to Lucien wanted Adrian dead. Selina's hands shake. She doesn't take the envelope, can't make herself reach for it. "Why would someone in Lucien's organization want my father dead?" Her voice barely works. "Because Adrian was the only thing keeping Lucien from falling back into old patterns. The only person who could challenge him, stop him, the only moral compass in a world built on corruption." The woman sets the envelope on the bench between them. Someone decided that Compass was becoming a liability. "No." Selina shakes her head. "Lucien loved my father. Lucien Moretti loves power more than he loves anyone." The woman's voice is hard. "Your father was pushing him toward legitimacy, forcing him to give up control, to transform an empire built on violence into something clean and legal. That transformation threatened people who profit from the old ways." She leans closer. "So they removed the obstacle. They killed Adrian Vale and made it look like the Bratva was responsible. Now Lucien has an enemy to focus his rage on, a target that keeps him distracted from the truth." Selina's mind reels. She can't process this, can't make it fit with anything she knows. "Who are you, Psych?" she demands again. "I'm FBI." The woman pulls out a badge. "Special Agent Victoria Cross? I've been investigating Moretti's organization for 3 years. Your father was helping me." The revelation hits like a second bomb. "What?" "Adrian came to me 18 months ago, said he wanted immunity in exchange for information about Moretti's operations. He was planning to testify, to bring down the empire from the inside." Victoria's voice softens slightly. "He wanted out, Selina. He was tired of the violence, tired of protecting a man who kept slipping back into darkness. He wanted a clean life, a safe life. He wanted to be free." Tears stream down Selina's face. "I don't believe you." "You don't have to believe me. The evidence speaks for itself." Victoria taps the envelope. "Bank transfers from a shell company controlled by Moretti's second-in-command. Communications ordering the hit. Testimony from a witness who heard the order given. It's all there." "If you have all this evidence, why are you telling me? Why not just arrest everyone?" "Because we need more. We need someone on the inside, someone Lucien trusts." Victoria's eyes bore into her. "We need you." Selina laughs. The sound is broken and bitter. "You want me to betray him. I want you to finish what your father started. Adrian died trying to bring down Moretti's empire. He died believing that justice would prevail, that his sacrifice would mean something." Victoria's voice hardens. "Don't let his death be for nothing. Help us. Wear a wire. Gather evidence. Give us what we need to arrest everyone responsible." "And if I refuse? Then the people who killed your father walk free. They continue profiting from his death, and Adrian Vale's sacrifice means exactly nothing." Victoria stands. "You have 48 hours to decide. After that, we move forward with or without you." She walks away without another word. disappears into the crowd of tourists and joggers like she was never there at all. Selena sits frozen on the bench. The envelope rests beside her. She stares at it like it might explode. Everything she thought she knew is crumbling. The Bratva didn't kill her father. Someone inside Lucien's organization did. Her father was working with the FBI, planning to betray Lucien, planning to destroy the empire he spent 18 years helping build. None of it makes sense. All of it makes terrible, perfect sense. Selena's hands shake as she picks up the envelope. She tears it open. Inside are photocopies of bank statements, emails, intercepted communications. She reads through them with growing horror. Wire transfer, $500,000 from LC Holdings, LLC to offshore account. Email fragment, problem needs permanent solution. Vale knows too much. Witness testimony. I heard Marco tell the shooter to make it look like Bratva work. Marco Santini, Lucien's second in command, his oldest friend after Adrian, the man who handled security operations and managed the organization's most sensitive business. Marco ordered the hit. Marco killed her father. And Lucien either doesn't know or doesn't care. Selena's vision swims. She feels like she's drowning, like the ground beneath her feet has disappeared and she's falling through empty air with nothing to catch her. Her phone rings. Lucien's name appears on the screen. She stares at it for 3 rings before answering. Where are you? Lucien's voice is tight, controlled. I just got word that someone was asking questions about you at your father's apartment building. I need to know you're safe. I'm fine. The lie tastes like poison. I'm just walking, clearing my head. Come back to the tower, please. It's not safe for you to be alone right now. I need more time. Selena, please, Lucien, just give me a few more hours. Let me process everything. I'll come back tonight, I promise. Silence stretches between them. She can hear him breathing, can picture the way his jaw is probably clenched, the way his fingers are probably drumming against his desk. Okay, he says finally. But check in every hour. Let me know you're alive. If you don't respond, I'm sending people to find you. I understand. And Selena, whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're thinking, you don't have to face it alone. I meant what I said. I'm here. For anything. The words cut deeper than any knife. Because either Lucien is a brilliant liar who orchestrated her father's murder, or he's an oblivious fool who let his own organization destroy the man he claimed to love most. She doesn't know which possibility is worse. I'll call you soon, she says. She ends the call before he can respond. The envelope sits heavy in her lap. Evidence that destroys everything her father asked her to believe. Evidence that proves Lucien Moretti's world is exactly as corrupt and dangerous as she always feared. Her father died for nothing, or worse, her father died trying to escape and was killed for it. Selena's chest heaves. She gasps for air that won't come. The park spins around her. Tourists and joggers blur into meaningless shapes. She needs to think, needs to understand what this means, needs to decide what to do with information that could destroy Lucien completely or get her killed trying. The key to her father's safety deposit box burns in her pocket, the documentation Adrian left behind. 18 years of evidence against Lucien Moretti. She has 2 weapons now. Victoria's evidence proving Lucien's organization killed Adrian, and her father's documentation proving every crime Lucien ever committed. She could destroy him twice over, or she could walk into the lion's den and confront him with the truth. Selena stands on shaking legs. She shoves the envelope into her coat pocket alongside her father's letter. Then she hails a cab and gives the driver an address she memorized years ago but never visited. Her father's apartment. The place where Adrian Vale lived when he wasn't protecting Lucien Moretti. The place he went to be himself instead of someone's conscience or moral compass. The place where maybe, just maybe, he left more answers. The cab drops her outside a modest building in a working-class neighborhood. Selena has her father's keys. She climbs 3 flights of stairs and unlocks apartment 3B. The space inside takes her breath away. It's small, neat, painfully ordinary. A kitchen with clean counters. A living room with worn furniture and family photographs on the walls. A bedroom visible through an open door. Everything is exactly as her father left it. Selena moves through the apartment slowly. Her fingers trail over surfaces. She studies the photographs. Her at various ages, her mother's wedding photo, Adrian in his security uniform looking young and proud. There's a desk in the corner of the living room, papers arranged in careful stacks, a laptop sitting closed. Everything organized with military precision. Selena sits at the desk, opens the laptop. The screen asks for a password. She tries several combinations. Her birthday, her mother's name, random dates that might mean something. Nothing works. Then she tries. Bright Eyes 2026. The laptop unlocks. Selena's throat tightens. Her father used her childhood nickname as his password, used it to protect whatever secrets he kept hidden on this device. She opens his email, scans through months of correspondence. Most of it is mundane: bills, appointment confirmations, newsletters from various organizations. But buried in a folder marked Work, she finds something that makes her blood run cold. Email exchanges with Victoria Cross. Dozens of them. Her father really was working with the FBI. Selena reads through the correspondence with growing horror. Adrian laying out security protocols, describing Lucien's operations, identifying key players in the organization, providing bank account numbers and shipping manifests and names of corrupt officials on Moretti's payroll. He was building a case, methodically, comprehensively. He was preparing to destroy everything Lucien Moretti built. But the last email is dated 3 days before his death. Victoria, I need to stop. Something's wrong. Marco is asking questions, watching me too closely. I think someone suspects. I'm pulling back until things cool down. Don't contact me again until I reach out. Victoria's response came 2 days before Adrian died. Adrian, if you're compromised, we need to extract you immediately. Don't try to handle this alone. Call me. V. But Adrian never responded, never called, never extracted. 2 days later, he was dead. Selena's hands shake so badly she can barely hold the laptop. The pieces click together with horrifying clarity. Marco discovered her father was working with the FBI. Marco ordered the hit to protect the organization. And either Lucien knew and approved, or he was too blind to see the traitor standing right beside him. She reads deeper, finds another folder marked Insurance. Inside are documents identical to what Patricia Chen described. Bank records, communication logs, operational details, everything needed to dismantle Lucien Moretti's empire. But there's also something else. A video file labeled Final Testament. Selena's finger hovers over it. She doesn't want to open it, doesn't want to see her father's face or hear his voice, doesn't want whatever truth is waiting inside this file. But she clicks anyway. Her father's face fills the screen. He looks tired, older than she remembers. He sits in this same apartment, at this same desk, speaking directly to the camera. Bright Eyes, he begins. His voice cracks on the nickname. If you're watching this, then I'm gone. And I'm sorry, so goddamn sorry. He pauses, wipes his eyes. I lied to you in those letters. Not about everything. I do want you to trust Lucien. I do believe he's capable of being more than what his past made him, but I lied about why I stayed with him for 18 years. Adrian takes a shaky breath. I didn't stay because I believed in him. I stayed because I was trapped. 18 years ago, I witnessed something, a murder. Lucien's father killing a federal informant. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I saw everything. Selena's stomach drops. Lucien's father gave me a choice, Adrian continues. Work for him or die. So I worked. I told myself I was doing good, guiding Lucien towards something better, making a difference. But the truth is, I was a prisoner, a hostage who learned to love his captor. Tears streamed down his face in the video. Then 18 months ago, the FBI approached me, offered immunity, witness protection, a way out. And I took it, Bright Eyes. I took it because I was tired, so goddamn tired of being afraid, of lying to you about where I worked and what I did, of protecting a man who would never truly change. He leans closer to the camera. But I couldn't go through with it. I couldn't betray Lucien, because despite everything, despite the fear and the lies and the violence, I do love him, like a son, like the family I never had besides you. So I stopped cooperating, told Victoria I was out. His voice hardens. Someone found out anyway. Marco Santini. He discovered I was talking to the FBI, and he decided I was too dangerous to keep alive. So he ordered the hit and made it look like enemy action. He killed me to protect the organization, to protect Lucien. Adrian's eyes bore through the screen. The files I left you, the documentation, the insurance, it's all real. Every crime, every operation, everything you need to bring down Lucien's empire. I'm giving you that power because you deserve to choose. To decide whether the man I died protecting is worth saving or worth destroying. He pauses. But Bright Eyes, before you decide, understand this. Lucien didn't know. He didn't order the hit. He didn't betray me. Marco acted alone because he believed he was protecting someone he loved from a traitor. Adrian's voice cracks. And maybe he was right. Maybe I was the traitor. Maybe I betrayed the man who gave me purpose and meaning and family when I had nothing else. He wipes his face. So you choose. Destroy Lucien for building a world that got me killed, or save him because he never actually betrayed me. I betrayed him first. The video ends. Selena sits frozen. The laptop screen fades to black. Her father's final testament echoes through her mind. Marco ordered the hit. Lucien didn't know. Her father betrayed them first, and now she holds the power to decide who pays for what crime. The apartment is silent except for her ragged breathing. Outside the window, the city continues its evening routine. The sun sets somewhere behind gray clouds. Shadows lengthen across worn furniture. Selena's phone buzzes. A text from Lucien. Are you okay? You haven't checked in. I'm starting to worry. She stares at the message. Her father's face is burned into her mind. His voice loops through her thoughts. Lucien didn't know. Marco acted alone. You choose. Her fingers move across the screen before her brain catches up. I'm coming back to the tower. We need to talk. About everything. The response comes immediately. I'll be waiting. Selena closes the laptop, tucks her father's letters and the FBI evidence into her bag, stands on shaking legs and moves toward the door. She has two choices. Trust Victoria Cross. Wear a wire. Gather evidence against Lucien and help the FBI bring down his entire empire. Finish what her father started before fear made him stop. Or trust her father's final words. Believe that Lucien is innocent of Adrian's murder, that Marco is the real traitor, that the man her father died protecting deserves the chance to prove he's worth saving. The elevator ride down feels like descending into hell. Outside, Chicago has transformed into evening. Streetlights flicker on. Traffic thickens with rush hour. The city doesn't care about Selena Vale's impossible choice. She hails a cab, gives the driver the address for Moretti Tower, watches the streets blur past while her mind races through implications and consequences and the terrible weight of her father's final request. You choose. The tower looms against the darkening sky. Selena pays the cab driver and walks through the entrance. The security guard waves her through. The elevator climbs toward the penthouse, toward Lucy, toward the man who either orchestrated her father's death through willful blindness or who loved Adrian Vale as much as he claimed and was betrayed by his own organization. The elevator doors open. Lucien stands in the living room. He's changed clothes again, dark jeans and a white t-shirt. No tie, no armor. He looks younger like this, almost vulnerable. Then Selena sees what he's holding. A gun. Her father's service weapon. The same gun Adrian carried for 18 years while protecting the man standing in front of her. We need to talk, Lucien says quietly. His face is unreadable. About what your father was really doing before he died. Selena's blood turns to ice. What do you know? Her voice barely works. Everything. Lucien sets the gun on the coffee table between them. I know Adrian was working with the FBI. I know he was planning to testify. I know Marco found out and ordered the hit without my permission. He meets her eyes. And I know you've been carrying evidence that could destroy me since you left Patricia Chen's office this morning. The floor drops out from under Selena's feet. Lucien steps closer. His amber eyes are cold now, merciless. This is the crime lord who built an empire on fear and violence. So here's what's going to happen, he says softly. You're going to give me every piece of evidence your father left behind. The FBI documentation, the files from his apartment, everything. And then you're going to walk out of my life and never look back. Selena's hand moves toward her bag, toward the evidence weighing heavy inside. And if I refuse, Lucien's expression doesn't change. Then I'll take it from you, one way or another, because I've spent 18 years building something legitimate, something your father helped me create. And I'm not letting it burn because Adrian Vale got cold feet and decided to become a hero. The words hit like bullets. This is the real Lucien Moretti, not the grieving friend who cried in her arms, not the broken man seeking redemption. This is the criminal her father was trapped protecting for 18 years. This is the monster everyone warned her about. Selina's hand closes around her phone in her pocket. Victoria Cross's number is programmed in. One call and the FBI descends on this penthouse. One call and Lucien Moretti's empire collapses. One call and she finishes what her father started. You have 10 seconds to decide, Lucien says. His voice is flat, empty. Give me the evidence or make that call you're thinking about making. Either way, this ends tonight. Selina's finger hovers over the screen. Her father's voice echoes through her mind. Lucien didn't know. You choose, trust him, but Adrian also said he was trapped, hostage to a man who would never truly change. That Lucien's father forced him into servitude with threats and violence. That the Moretti family built their empire on graves. Time's up, Lucien says. He moves toward her, and Selina makes her choice. She hits dial. Selina's finger freezes over the call button. Not because she changes her mind, but because Lucien moves faster than thought. His hand shoots out and rips the phone from her grip before she can complete the connection. The device flies across the room and shatters against the far wall. Plastic and glass explode into fragments that scatter across expensive hardwood. Bad choice, Lucien says. His voice is cold, clinical. The warmth from their previous conversations has evaporated completely, replaced by something that makes Selina's blood run ice cold. She backs away. Her hand dives into her bag toward the evidence folders. If she can't call for help, maybe she can use the documentation as leverage. Bargaining power. But Lucien anticipates the move. He crosses the distance between them in 2 strides and yanks the bag from her shoulder. The strap tears. Papers spill across the floor. Her father's letters, the FBI evidence, photocopied bank statements. Everything. Exposed. You actually did it, Lucien says. He's staring at the scattered documents like they're evidence of a crime he can't quite believe. You actually brought everything here. All the proof. All the leverage. You walked right into my home and handed me the ammunition to destroy you. Selina's heart hammers. If you hurt me, the FBI will know. Victoria Cross is expecting me to check in. If I don't, Victoria Cross is a Fed who's been chasing my organization for 3 years without making a single arrest stick. Lucien's laugh is hollow. You think I don't know about her? You think I haven't had people watching her every move? She approached you in Millennium Park this afternoon. You sat on that bench for 11 minutes. She gave you an envelope and fed you a story about Marco ordering the hit. He kneels and picks up one of the FBI documents. She's not wrong, by the way. Marco did order it. He found out Adrian was cooperating with federal investigators and decided your father was too dangerous to let live. Lucien's jaw tightens. What Victoria didn't tell you is that I found out about Marco's betrayal 6 hours ago, right around the time you were reading your father's emails. Selina's breath stops. Marco Santini is dead, Lucien continues. His voice is flat, empty. I put a bullet in his head myself, in his kitchen, while his coffee was still hot, because he killed the only person in this world who ever gave a damn about me. The confession lands like a bomb. You killed him, Selina whispers. I executed him. Lucien's amber eyes are merciless. There's a difference. Execution implies justice. Marco betrayed me, betrayed Adrian, took it upon himself to solve a problem I didn't even know existed. So yes, I killed him. And I'd do it again. He stands, begins gathering the scattered documents with methodical precision. But here's what Victoria didn't tell you, he continues. Marco acted alone. I didn't know Adrian was cooperating with the FBI. Didn't know about the emails or the meetings or any of it. Your father hid it from me because he knew I'd try to stop him, try to convince him there was another way. Lucien's voice cracks slightly. And you know what the worst part is? He was right to hide it. Because if I'd known, I would have begged him to stay. would have promised to change faster, do better, become the man he believed I could be. I would have manipulated him with guilt and loyalty and 18 years of friendship. He looks up at Selena. Your father didn't betray me out of hatred. He betrayed me because he was exhausted, tired of carrying the weight of my redemption on his shoulders, tired of being the only thing standing between me and the darkness. He wanted out, wanted freedom. And I can't even be angry at him for that because I understand it completely. Tears stream down Selena's face. She doesn't know what to believe anymore. Every truth keeps shifting. Every revelation exposes new layers of complexity. If Marco is dead, then who sent the text about meeting in Millennium Park? She demands. Who told me to come alone? I did. The voice comes from behind her. Selena spins. A woman steps out from the hallway leading to the guest bedrooms. She's the same person from the park. Victoria Cross in her expensive coat and designer sunglasses. But she's not alone. 3 armed men emerge behind her. Federal agents in tactical gear with FBI emblazoned across their vests. They spread out across the penthouse with practiced efficiency. Lucien Moretti, Victoria says. Her voice carries the weight of authority. You're under arrest for racketeering, conspiracy to commit murder, money laundering, and about 15 other federal charges. Put your hands where I can see them. Lucien doesn't move. His expression doesn't change. He stands perfectly still, documents still clutched in his hands. Selena, he says quietly, did you know they were coming? No. The word bursts out of her. I swear I didn't know. Victoria said I had 48 hours to decide. I didn't. She lied. Lucien's voice is gentle, almost kind. That's what federal agents do. They lie to get what they need. She used you to get inside my home, used your grief to manipulate you into bringing evidence directly to me so she could witness the handoff, witness me acknowledging what these documents contain. He looks at Victoria. Smart play. I underestimated you. Victoria's expression doesn't change. Hands up, now, or my agents will put you down. Do it, and you'll start a war that burns this entire city, Lucien says calmly. My people know where I am, know who I'm with. The moment I don't check in, they'll assume I've been taken or killed, and they'll respond accordingly. Empty threats from a desperate criminal. Are they? Lucien sets the documents on the coffee table. There are 47 men loyal to me positioned within 3 blocks of this building. Another 200 spread across the city waiting for my signal. You arrest me tonight and Chicago bleeds. Innocent people die. Your entire operation becomes the spark that ignites gang warfare across every neighborhood from here to the south side. Victoria hesitates, just for a second. But Selena sees it. Lucien isn't bluffing. You can't negotiate your way out of this, Victoria says, but her voice has lost some of its certainty. I'm not negotiating. I'm stating facts. Lucien's hands remain at his sides. You want me? Fine. Arrest me. Process me. Build your case. But do it cleanly, quietly. Let me surrender on my terms so this city doesn't burn while you're patting yourself on the back for taking down a crime lord. The standoff stretches taut. One of the agents shifts his weight. His finger moves closer to his trigger. Stand down, Victoria says sharply. Everyone stand down. The agents freeze. Victoria's eyes never leave Lucien's face. What are your terms? She asks. Simple. I surrender peacefully. Cooperate with your investigation. Turn over financial records and operational details. Everything you need to dismantle my organization without bloodshed. Lucien's voice is steady. In exchange, you guarantee Selena Vale's safety. Full immunity. Witness protection if she wants it. She walks away from this completely clean. Selena's breath catches. What? No deal, Victoria says immediately. Selena brought you evidence, participated in this investigation. She's a witness, not a defendant. She's already protected. She's a target. Lucien's voice hardens. The moment you arrest me, everyone associated with my organization becomes vulnerable. Rival gangs will move on my territory. My own people will fracture and fight for control. Selena is Adrian Vale's daughter, the daughter of my former head of security. She's leverage, bait, a symbol, and someone will try to use her to send a message. He looks at Selena. I won't let that happen. I couldn't protect your father, but I can protect you. So that's my price. Her safety, guaranteed, in writing, or this whole thing gets very messy very fast. Victoria's jaw tightens. She pulls out her phone and steps away, speaks in low tones to someone on the other end. The agents maintain their positions, weapons ready, but not aimed. Selena feels like she's watching a play from underwater. Everything is muffled and distant and impossible to process. Lucien is surrendering, giving up his empire, destroying everything he built. For her. Why? The word escapes her lips. Why are you doing this? Lucienne meets her eyes. For just a moment, the cold mask slips. Underneath, she sees grief and exhaustion and something that might be relief. Because your father asked me not to waste his death, he says quietly. Because he spent 18 years trying to make me into someone worth saving. And because the only way to honor that sacrifice is to stop being the man who needs saving in the first place. He pauses. And because I owe Adrian Vale a debt I can never repay. But protecting his daughter, making sure she has the clean, safe life he wanted for her, that's a start. Victoria returns. Her expression is carved from stone. Deal, she says. Full immunity for Selena Vale. Witness protection available upon request. In exchange, you surrender peacefully and provide complete cooperation with our investigation. She pulls out handcuffs. Lucien Moretti, you're under arrest. Lucien turns and puts his hands behind his back, without resistance. The cuffs click into place with a sound that echoes through the penthouse like a gunshot. Wait! Selena's voice cracks. You can't just... There has to be another way. A deal. Something that doesn't end with you in prison. There isn't. Lucien's voice is gentle. I've committed crimes, Selena. Real crimes. People died because of decisions I made. Money was laundered. Lives were ruined. Your father spent 18 years trying to clean up my mess, but the stains go too deep. This is the price. I pay it willingly. Victoria begins reading him his rights. The words wash over Selena like noise. She can't process them, can't make them fit with the reality unfolding in front of her. 2 federal agents take Lucien by the arms, begin walking him toward the elevator. Selena! Lucien stops walking, turns to look at her one last time. There's a safe in my office, behind the bookshelf on the east wall. Combination is your father's badge number. Inside, you'll find documents transferring ownership of 3 legitimate businesses to your name. Completely clean operations, no criminal connections. Your father helped me build them. They're worth about $8 million. Her breath stops. I don't want your money. It's not my money. It's Adrian's legacy. The proof that his 18 years of work meant something, that he actually did transform part of my empire into something legitimate. Lucien's voice cracks. Take it. Build something good with it. Make his sacrifice count for more than just putting me behind bars. The agents pull him toward the elevator. Wait! Selena lunges forward. Victoria's hand shoots out to stop her, but Selena shoves past. She reaches Lucien just as the elevator doors open. My father's video, she says urgently. The one he recorded. He said you didn't know. That Marco acted alone. That you didn't betray him. Lucien's eyes close briefly. I know. I found the video 6 hours ago, same time I found out about Marco. Then why are you surrendering? You're innocent of his murder. You didn't order the hit. You didn't even know about the FBI investigation. Why are you confessing to crimes you didn't commit? Because I'm guilty of everything else. Lucien's voice is raw. Your father died trying to bring down my empire because he knew it was built on blood and corruption. The least I can do is finish what he started. Take responsibility, pay the price, stop running from the man I used to be. The elevator dings. One more thing, Lucien says. He looks directly at Victoria. The evidence Selena brought tonight, Adrian's documentation from the safety deposit box. It includes proof of police corruption, judges on my payroll, politicians who took bribes. You'll want to handle that carefully. Some of those names will surprise you. Victoria's expression flickers. Understood. The agents pull Lucien into the elevator. The doors begin to close. Selena watches his face disappear behind steel. The penthouse falls silent. Victoria turns to her. You're free to go. We'll need you to come in tomorrow to give an official statement, but for tonight you should get somewhere safe. Somewhere away from Moretti Properties. I don't understand. Selena's voice is hollow. He just surrendered, gave you everything. Why do you look disappointed? Because this isn't how these things are supposed to end. Victoria's voice is tired. Criminals are supposed to fight, run, deny everything. They're not supposed to just give up. Maybe he's not the criminal you thought he was. He killed Marco Santini in cold blood 6 hours ago. Victoria's eyes are hard. He's exactly the criminal I thought he was. He's just also complicated in ways that make this job harder than it should be. She gestures to the scattered documents on the floor. Gather your father's things. Take whatever you need from this place. But do it quickly. Once word gets out that Moretti's been arrested, this building becomes a target. Victoria and her agents leave without ceremony. The penthouse door closes with a soft click. Selina stands alone in the massive space, surrounded by expensive furniture and city views and the ghost of her father's presence in every corner. She should leave, should run as far and fast as possible from this nightmare. But her feet carry her to Lucian's office instead. She finds the bookshelf on the east wall, pulls it aside to reveal a wall safe with an electronic keypad. Her father's badge number, 4782. The safe clicks open. Inside are documents exactly as Lucian described. Legal transfers of ownership for 3 businesses, a coffee shop chain, a construction company, a property management firm, all legitimate, all clean, all worth millions. But beneath the business documents is something else, a letter addressed to her in Lucien's handwriting. Selina's hands shake as she opens it. Selina, if you're reading this, then I've been arrested or killed or otherwise removed from the picture. Either way, I wanted you to have this explanation while my words still matter. Your father saved my life 19 years ago. Not by taking a bullet, that came later. He saved me by refusing to give up on someone everyone else had written off as irredeemable. He looked at a violent kid drowning in his father's legacy and saw potential worth nurturing. For 18 years, Adrian pushed me to be better, to build something legitimate, to transform violence into influence and influence into actual change. He never let me take the easy path, never let me fall back into old patterns without a fight. He was my conscience, my moral compass, my best friend. And I got him killed, not directly, not intentionally, but my world, the empire I built, the enemies I made, the darkness I could never fully escape, it consumed him anyway. Marco's betrayal was just the mechanism. The real cause was me, my choices, my past, my inability to completely leave behind the man I used to be. So I'm doing what Adrian would want. I'm taking responsibility, surrendering, cooperating with federal investigators to dismantle everything I built that wasn't legitimate. I'm paying the price so his death means something more than just another casualty in Chicago's endless gang warfare. But before I go, I need you to understand something. Your father didn't die for nothing. The businesses I'm transferring to you, he helped build them. Every location, every hire, every operational decision had Adrian's fingerprints on it. They're proof that his 18 years of work actually transformed part of my empire into something real, something good, something that employs 300 people and generates legitimate revenue and contributes to neighborhoods instead of destroying them. That's his legacy, not the violence, not the corruption, not the criminal organization that killed him. The proof that even broken people can build something worth saving if someone believes in them long enough. Take those businesses, grow them, make them even better than Adrian and I managed. Show the world that his sacrifice transformed darkness into light. And Selina, forgive him for lying to you, for hiding the truth about what his work really entailed, for staying in my world longer than he should have. He did it because he believed in redemption, because he couldn't walk away from someone he'd invested so much of himself in saving. That kind of loyalty is rare. Treasure it, even as you grieve it. I'm sorry for everything my world cost you. I'm sorry I couldn't be the man Adrian believed I could be fast enough to save his life. I'm sorry you're left holding the pieces of his sacrifice. But I'm not sorry he chose to believe in me. That belief gave me 18 years of purpose and meaning I never would have found otherwise. It gave me a friend when I deserved none. It gave me hope that even someone like me could change. Your father was the best man I ever knew. I'll spend the rest of my life trying to become worthy of his faith in me. Lucian Selina reads the letter 3 times. Tears stream down her face and drip onto the expensive paper, smudging ink. She folds it carefully, tucks it into her bag alongside her father's letters and the business documents. Then she calls a number she found in her father's email earlier. It rings twice before a familiar voice answers. This is Agent Cross. It's Selina Vale. Her voice is steadier than she expected. I want to know exactly what happens to Lucian Moretti now, what charges he's facing, what kind of sentence he's looking at, everything. Victoria is quiet for a moment. Why? Because my father spent 18 years of his life trying to save that man, and I need to know if his sacrifice actually accomplished anything, or if Lucian Moretti is just going to rot in a cell while pretending he's changed. He's facing significant prison time, 20 years minimum, possibly life depending on what evidence we uncover during the investigation. The number hits like a punch to the gut. But, Victoria continues, if he cooperates fully, and I mean completely opens up his entire operation, we might be able to negotiate something closer to 10 years with possibility of parole, especially if he helps us take down bigger fish. Politicians, corrupt officials, other criminal organizations. Will you make that deal? That depends on what he gives us, and whether we believe his cooperation is genuine or just another manipulation. Selena's grip tightens on the phone. He killed Marco Santini, executed him for murdering my father. Doesn't that count for something? Doesn't that prove he cared? It proves he's capable of violence when someone crosses him. Victoria's voice is hard, which is exactly why he belongs in prison. Look, I understand you have complicated feelings about Moretti. He was your father's friend. He protected you. He surrendered to keep you safe, but none of that erases his crimes. I know. Do you? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're trying to find reasons to forgive him, to see him the way Adrian did. But your father was trapped in Moretti's world for 18 years. Stockholm Syndrome is real, Selena. Just because Adrian believed in Lucian doesn't mean that belief was rational. The words cut deep because part of Selena knows they're true. What happens now? She asked quietly. Now you give your statement, turn over any remaining evidence. Then you walk away and let us do our job. You've been through enough. Let the justice system handle the rest. Selena ends the call without responding. She stands in Lucian's office surrounded by the trappings of his empire. Expensive furniture, original art, windows overlooking a city he once controlled through fear and violence. Her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. They're lying to you. Selena's blood runs cold. She stares at the message. Another text arrives. Moretti didn't kill Marco. Marco is still alive. This whole thing is a setup. Her hands shake. She types back, "Who is this?" The response comes immediately. "Someone who worked with your father. Someone who knows the truth about what really happened. Meet me, alone. I'll explain everything." "Where?" "The rooftop where Adrian died. Midnight. Come alone or don't come at all." Selena's heart hammers. This could be a trap. Could be the Bratva, or remnants of Lucian's organization, or anyone with a grudge. Could get her killed. But it could also be the truth. The real truth beneath all the lies and manipulations and carefully constructed narratives everyone keeps feeding her. She checks the time. 11:17 p.m. 43 minutes to decide. Selena moves through the penthouse gathering what she needs. Her father's letters. The business documents. The evidence from the FBI. Everything that matters fits in one bag. She takes the elevator down, walks out into Chicago's night air. The city feels different now. Darker. More dangerous. Like the streets themselves know that the man who controlled them for 19 years is gone. A cab pulls up. Selena gives the driver an address 3 blocks from the rooftop location. She'll walk the rest of the way. Approach carefully. Make sure she's not being followed. The cab drops her at a 24-hour diner. She goes inside. Orders coffee she doesn't drink. Watches the street through the window. 11:38 p.m. 22 minutes. A black SUV cruises past. Then another. Selena recognizes them, vehicles from Lucian's fleet. But who's driving them now? Who's giving orders with Lucian in federal custody? She leaves cash on the table, slips out the side door, moves through alleys and side streets with the paranoia her father taught her during their few honest conversations about his work. The building where Adrian died is an abandoned manufacturing facility slated for demolition. 6 stories of crumbling brick and broken windows. The perfect place for a sniper to set up. The perfect place for her father to bleed out on concrete. Selena approaches from the south, finds the service entrance already jimmied open, climbs stairs that creak with every step. The rooftop door is propped open with a brick. She steps out into cold night air. Chicago's skyline glitters in every direction, the same view her father saw before he died. "You came." The voice comes from the shadows near the northern edge. A man steps into moonlight. He's maybe 50, wearing an expensive suit and carrying himself with military precision. Selina recognizes him from photographs in her father's apartment. Thomas Chen, Adrian's former partner from his days as a cop, the friend who helped him transition into private security 19 years ago. Uncle Tommy? The childhood name slips out before she can stop it. She hasn't seen him in 15 years, not since her mother's funeral. Hello, Bright Eyes. His smile is sad. I'm sorry it took your father's death for me to reach out. I should have done it sooner. What are you doing here? What's this about Marco still being alive? Tommy's expression hardens. Everything you've been told is a lie. The FBI didn't arrest Lucien tonight. They never entered that penthouse. What you witnessed was theater. Selina's world tilts. What? Lucien Moretti is still free, still in control, still running his empire. Tommy pulls out his phone, shows her a photograph time-stamped 20 minutes ago. It shows Lucien standing in what looks like a warehouse, very much not in handcuffs, speaking to a group of armed men. Victoria Cross isn't FBI, Tommy continues. She's private intelligence, corporate espionage. She works for the Volkov Bratva. The revelation hits like a freight train. No, that's impossible. She had credentials, agents, tactical gear. All fake. All part of an elaborate con to get you to lead them to Adrian's documentation. To see what evidence your father left behind that could threaten their organization. Tommy's voice is gentle but firm. They played you, Selina. Used your grief to manipulate you into bringing everything directly to Lucien so they could see what he knew, what your father told him. Selina's knees buckle. She catches herself against the rooftop ledge. But the arrest, the surrender, Lucien confessed to everything. Did he? Or did he just play along with their theater to keep you safe? Tommy steps closer. Think about it. Victoria shows up with agents, threatens arrest. Lucien negotiates for your immunity. Then they take him away while you're left standing there with all the evidence. He pauses. But here's what doesn't make sense. If the FBI really arrested him, where are the booking photos, the press conference, the news coverage? It's been 3 hours. A crime lord of Lucien Moretti's profile getting arrested should be front-page news, but there's nothing. Complete media silence. Selina's mind races. She pulls out her phone. Searches for news about Lucien's arrest. Nothing. No alerts. No breaking news. No police statements. What's really happening? She whispers. War. Tommy's voice is grim. The Bratva used you to confirm what they suspected, that Adrian left evidence of their operations mixed in with documentation about Moretti. They needed to know what you had before making their move. Now that they know, they're preparing to strike. Strike what? Everything. Lucien's remaining operations, his legitimate businesses, anyone associated with him. Tommy's eyes bore into hers. Including you. A sound echoes from the stairwell. Footsteps. Multiple sets. Moving fast. Tommy's hand moves to a gun hidden under his jacket. We need to go, he says urgently. Right now. They followed you here. This whole thing was bait to separate you from Moretti's protection. Who followed me? The rooftop door slams open. 3 men emerge. Armed. Professional. They spread out with practiced efficiency. And in the center, wearing her expensive coat and designer sunglasses despite the darkness, walks Victoria Cross. Selina Vale, she says. Her voice is different now. Harder. No pretense of federal authority. You've been very difficult to track, very careful. Your father trained you well. Tommy raises his weapon. Back off, Victoria. The girl's under protection. Your protection, Victoria laughs. You're 1 man against 3 trained killers and the entire Volkov organization. Do the math, Thomas. One of her men raises his rifle. Tommy doesn't hesitate. He fires first. The sound is deafening. The man drops. Tommy grabs Selina's arm and yanks her toward the eastern edge of the roof. Fire escape, he shouts over the chaos. Move! Gunfire erupts behind them. Bullets whine past Selina's head. Tommy returns fire without looking back, his movement smooth and practiced. They reach the fire escape. Selina scrambles over the ledge. Her hands slip on rusted metal. Tommy lands beside her and pushes her down the stairs. Go, don't stop! They descend in a controlled fall. 3 floors, 4. Above them, Victoria's men reach the fire escape and open fire. Bullets spark off metal railings. Tommy grunts, stumbles, blood blooms across his shoulder. "I'm fine," he gasps before Selina can speak. "Keep moving." They hit street level. Tommy pulls her into an alley. His free hand presses against the wound. "Listen to me carefully," he says through gritted teeth. "Everything in your father's documentation, the real threat isn't Lucien's crimes. It's evidence of a joint operation between the Bratva and certain federal officials. Money laundering through legitimate channels, politicians on both organizations' payrolls. Your father was killed because he discovered the Bratva wasn't just moving against Moretti. They were planning to take over his entire legitimate empire with government protection." Selina's mind reels. "How do you know all this?" "Because Adrian told me. 3 days before he died. He sent me copies of everything. Insurance in case something happened to him." Tommy's breathing is labored. "I've been investigating quietly, trying to figure out who I could trust. Then you walked into Millennium Park and I realized Victoria had you in her crosshairs. Tires screech at the alley entrance. Black SUVs block both ends. Victoria's voice echoes through the darkness. "There's nowhere left to run, Selina. Give us the documentation and we'll let you walk away. Your father made copies. We know Thomas has them. Hand them over and this ends peacefully." Tommy reloads his weapon with shaking hands. "How many bullets you figure we have against about 20 armed professionals?" "Not enough." "Yeah." He manages a weak smile. "Your father would be so proud of you right now, walking straight into the exact kind of mess he tried to keep you away from." Despite everything, Selina almost laughs. "What do we do?" "We make a choice." Tommy's eyes meet hers. "We can surrender. Give them what they want. Hope they keep their word about letting you go. Or we can fight. Try to break through. Probably die in the attempt, but at least go down swinging. Those are terrible options. Welcome to your father's world." Footsteps approach from both directions. Victoria's men closing in with weapons ready. The alley feels like a tomb. Selina's hand closes around her phone. One number programmed in. One call that might change everything. Lucian's private line. If Tommy's right, if the arrest was theater, then Lucian is still out there, still in control, still powerful enough to tip the scales. If Tommy's wrong, the call goes nowhere and they die anyway. "Do it," Tommy says. He's watching her face, reading her intention. "Call him. It's the only move we have left." Selina hits dial. The phone rings once, twice. On the third ring, Lucien's voice answers. "Selina." Just her name, but the way he says it, the relief mixed with fear, tells her everything. "I need help," she gasps. "Victoria Cross has me trapped. She's not FBI, she's working for the Bratva. They're going to kill me." "Where are you?" She gives him the address. 10 minutes, Lucien says. His voice is hard now, cold. The crime lord who built an empire on violence. "Hold position. Stay alive. I'm coming." The line goes dead. Victoria's voice cuts through the darkness. "Who did you call, Selina? The FBI? They're not coming. We have people inside every law enforcement agency in this city." "Not the FBI," Selina calls back. Her voice is steadier than she expected. "Someone who actually scares you." Silence. Then Victoria laughs. "You called Moretti. That's actually perfect. We can eliminate both of you at once." "You think he's coming alone?" Selina's heart hammers, but she keeps her voice confident. "You think the man who controlled this city for 19 years doesn't have an army at his fingertips?" More silence. Tommy grips her arm. "Whatever happens in the next 10 minutes, stay behind me. Don't try to be a hero. Your father would never forgive me if I let you die. He'd never forgive me if I let you die either. I'm already dead." Tommy's smile is grim. "This shoulder wound is worse than it looks. I'm bleeding out slowly. Best I can do is buy you time." "No. Not your choice, Bright Eyes." He squeezes her arm once. "Adrian saved my life 20 years ago. Let me return the favor by saving his daughter." Before Selina can argue, Tommy steps out of cover, raises his weapon. "You want to fight?" he shouts into the darkness. "Come and get one." Gunfire erupts. Tommy fires back with deadly precision. One of Victoria's men drops. Then another, but there are too many. Too much firepower. Bullets tear through Tommy's chest. He staggers but doesn't fall. Returns fire until his weapon clicks empty. "Selina!" He gasps. Blood pours from multiple wounds. Run, don't stop, don't look back. I'm not leaving you. You don't have a choice. Tommy collapses. Selena lunges toward him, but hands grab her from behind. Someone yanks her deeper into the alley, away from Tommy's body, away from the gunfire. She fights, screams, claws at whoever's dragging her. Stop fighting me, a familiar voice hisses. I'm getting you out of here. She twists to see Lucian. His face is hard and his eyes are merciless, but his hands are gentle as they pull her toward a gap in the alley wall she didn't notice before. This way, move. They squeeze through into another passage. Behind them, Victoria's voice shouts orders. Her men search for where Selena disappeared. Lucien pulls her through a maze of alleys and service corridors. His hand never leaves her arm. They emerge in a parking structure 2 blocks away where a SUV waits with engine running. He shoves her into the back seat, climbs in beside her. The vehicle peels out before the door fully closes. Are you hurt? Lucien demands. His hands move over her arms and shoulders, checking for wounds. Did they touch you? Tommy Chen is dead. Selena's voice cracks. He saved my life and he's dead and I left him there. Thomas was already dying. Lucian's voice is gentle. I saw the wounds. He had minutes at most. He chose to use them buying you time. How did you know where I was? I had people following you since you left the tower. When you went to that rooftop, my entire security team went on high alert. Lucien's jaw tightens. I knew it was a trap. Knew Victoria would make her move. I just had to time my intervention carefully. The arrest was fake. Completely. Victoria and her people are Bratva operatives. They've been planning this for months. Use you to confirm what evidence exists, then eliminate everyone who knows about their operation. He pulls out his phone. But they made one critical mistake. What? Lucien's smile is cold. They assumed I'd surrender, that I'd play along with their theater long enough for them to regroup and strike. They didn't count on me seeing through it immediately. Didn't count on me having contingencies. He makes a call. Someone answers on the first ring. It's done, Lucian says. Victoria Cross and her team are exposed. Send everything to every news outlet and law enforcement agency in the city. Evidence of Bratva infiltration of federal agencies. Names of corrupt officials. Bank records showing money laundering through government channels. Everything Adrian Vale documented before he died. He pauses. And make sure they know the source. Make sure everyone understands that Adrian Vale died uncovering the biggest corruption scandal in Chicago history. Make his name mean something. Lucian ends the call. What did you just do? Selena whispers. I finished what your father started. Lucian's voice is raw. I exposed the corruption he died investigating. I made sure his sacrifice wasn't for nothing. And I guaranteed that every person involved in his murder faces consequences. The SUV speeds through empty streets, heading toward the outskirts of the city, away from Moretti Tower, away from Victoria Cross and the Bratva, away from everything. Where are we going? Selena asks. Somewhere safe. Somewhere they can't reach you while this whole thing burns down. Lucian looks at her. His amber eyes are exhausted. I'm sorry. For all of it. For failing to protect your father. For dragging you into this nightmare. For every moment of pain my world has cost you. Stop apologizing. I can't. I won't. His voice cracks. Adrian Vale was the best man I ever knew, and I got him killed. I'll spend the rest of my life apologizing for that. Selena stares at him, at this dangerous man who surrendered his empire to protect her, who orchestrated an elaborate counter-operation to expose corruption her father died investigating, who just saved her life at significant risk to his own. Her father asked her to trust him. Maybe Adrian saw something she's only beginning to understand. What happens now? She asks quietly. Now the city burns. Lucian's voice is hard. The evidence goes public. Federal agencies start internal investigations. Politicians scramble. The Bratva loses their protection, and everyone who played a part in your father's death faces justice. He pauses. And you stay hidden until it's safe, until every threat is eliminated, until I can guarantee no one will use you as leverage ever again. How long will that take? Lucien meets her eyes. As long as it takes. The SUV continues through the night, carrying them away from the city, away from the violence. Away from everything except the impossible bond forged between two people who love the same man enough to destroy empires in his memory. And somewhere in the darkness, Adrian Vale's sacrifice begins transforming into something that might actually be called justice. The safe house sits 40 miles outside Chicago in a town too small to have a name anyone remembers. It's a farmhouse that looks abandoned from the road. Peeling paint, sagging porch, windows covered with years of grime. But inside, the space is clean and functional. Reinforced doors, security cameras. Enough supplies to last months if necessary. Selena stands at the kitchen window watching dawn break over empty fields. She hasn't slept. Can't sleep. Every time she closes her eyes, she sees Tommy Chen collapsing in that alley. Sees her father's face in the video he recorded. Sees Lucien being led away in handcuffs that turned out to be theater. Behind her, Lucien sits at the kitchen table with a laptop and 3 phones. He's been making calls and sending encrypted messages for the last 6 hours. Coordinating, planning, dismantling the Bratva's operation piece by piece. "It's done," he says finally. His voice is rough from exhaustion. Every news outlet in the city has the evidence. Federal prosecutors are already convening grand juries. The corruption scandal is front-page news. Selena doesn't turn around. And Victoria Cross? In the wind. She disappeared the moment the story broke, but she can't hide forever. Too many people want her head now, both sides of the law. Will she come after me? Lucien is quiet for a moment. Probably. Eventually. Which is why you need to disappear too. New identity, witness protection. The FBI, the real FBI this time, is already preparing paperwork. Now Selena turns. "I'm not running. You don't have a choice. I always have a choice." Her voice is hard. "My father spent 18 years trapped in your world because he thought he didn't have choices. I won't make the same mistake." Lucien's jaw tightens. "Your father had choices. He chose to stay, chose to believe in me, chose to keep trying even when any rational person would have walked away. And it got him killed." The words land like a slap. Lucien flinches but doesn't look away. "Yes," he says quietly. "It did." Selena moves to the table, sits across from him. Up close, she can see the exhaustion carved into his face, the dark circles under his eyes, the way his hands shake slightly when he's not consciously controlling them. "Tell me the truth," she says. "All of it. No more games, no more manipulation, just the truth about what my father really meant to you." Lucien sets down his phone, leans back in his chair. For a long moment, he just looks at her, and she sees something in his expression that might be relief, like he's been waiting for permission to stop pretending. "Your father saved my life when I was 24 years old," Lucien begins, "but not the way you think. He didn't take a bullet for me back then. He did something harder. He looked at a violent kid drowning in his father's legacy and refused to walk away." He pauses. "My father was a brutal man. He built our organization on fear and bloodshed. He taught me that violence was the only language the world understood, that mercy was weakness, that caring about anyone made you vulnerable." Lucien's voice goes quiet. "Then he put a gun in my hand when I was 16 and told me to kill someone, to prove I was his son. So I did. And then I did it 9 more times over the next 8 years because that's what survival looked like in my world." Selena's chest tightens, but she doesn't interrupt. "Adrian met me during an extortion operation. He was working security for a developer my father wanted to shake down. Any normal person would have looked the other way, taken their paycheck and pretended not to see. But Adrian stood in my face and told me I was wasting my potential, that I was smart enough to build something legitimate if I stopped being a coward." Lucien's laugh is hollow. "I almost killed him for it. Had my gun halfway out of my holster when he said something that stopped me cold. He said, 'Your father made you into a weapon, but weapons don't get to choose their targets. Is that really how you want to spend your whole life, being someone else's tool?'" He looks down at his hands. "No one had ever talked to me like that before. Like I was a person capable of making choices instead of just a monster following programming. So instead of killing him, I hired him, told him if he was so sure I could be better, he could prove it. And he spent 18 years trying," Selena says softly. "He spent 18 years succeeding." Lucien's voice cracks. "Every legitimate business I own, every neighborhood I invested in instead of destroying, every choice I made to build instead of burn. That was Adrian. He was relentless. He never let me slide back into old patterns without a fight. He believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Tears streamed down his face. He was my best friend, my conscience, my brother in every way that mattered, and I got him killed because I couldn't let go of power fast enough. Couldn't transform my empire into something completely clean before someone decided his influence over me was too dangerous. Selena's vision blurs. He loved you. I know, and I loved him, which is why I'm doing exactly what he asked. Lucien wipes his face roughly. I'm dismantling everything that isn't legitimate, cooperating with federal investigators, turning over evidence on every corrupt official and criminal organization in this city. I'm burning down the empire and using the ashes to build something your father would actually be proud of. That'll take years. I have years. Prison is probably in my future regardless. Might as well spend whatever freedom I have left finishing what Adrian started. Selena studies his face. The exhaustion, the grief, the desperate determination to make his best friend's death mean something. Her father asked her to trust this man. Maybe he knew that trust would be the final test, the ultimate proof that Lucien Moretti could be more than his past. I'm not disappearing into witness protection, Selena says. Selena, I'm not running. I'm not hiding. I'm not letting Victoria Cross or the Bratva or anyone else make me afraid. Her voice is steel. My father spent 18 years fighting for something he believed in. I'm going to honor that by finishing what he started. What does that mean? Selena pulls out her phone, opens the files she downloaded from her father's laptop. Bank records, communication logs, evidence of corruption spanning 2 decades. It means I'm giving testimony, real testimony, to real federal investigators about everything my father discovered, about the Bratva's infiltration of government agencies, about corrupt officials on both organizations' payrolls, about all of it. Lucien's eyes widen. That's a target on your back for the rest of your life. I know. You'll never be safe, never be able to live normally. Every enemy my organization and the Bratva ever made will see you as unfinished business. I know that too. Selena's hands don't shake. But my father didn't die so I could hide. He died trying to expose corruption, trying to make this city better. I'm going to finish what he started, no matter what it costs. He wouldn't want you to sacrifice yourself. He did exactly that, sacrificed himself trying to change things. The least I can do is honor his example. Lucien stares at her. She can see him processing, calculating, understanding that she means every word. You're just like him, he says finally. His voice is thick with emotion. Stubborn, loyal, willing to throw yourself into fire for something you believe in. Is that a compliment? It's a warning. Lucien leans forward. Because I already watched one Veil die for their principles. I won't survive watching another. Then help me. Selena's voice softens. Help me do this right. Help me give testimony that actually accomplishes something. Use your connections and resources to make sure my father's evidence lands where it'll do the most good. And then what? You testify and disappear anyway? You can't stay in Chicago. You can't go back to your normal life. Everything changes the moment you become a federal witness. I know, but at least it'll be my choice, my decision, not something forced on me by fear. They sit in silence. Outside, the sun climbs higher. Morning light spills across empty fields and the farmhouse that's become their temporary refuge. Lucien's phone buzzes. He glances at the screen and his expression hardens. We have a problem, he says. What now? The Bratva knows where we are. Someone leaked our location. We have maybe 20 minutes before they arrive in force. Selena's heart hammers. How many? Enough to make this a fight we can't win. Lucien stands, moves to a cabinet and pulls out 2 handguns. There's an escape route through the basement, tunnel that leads to the tree line half a mile away, vehicle waiting on the other side. He hands her one of the guns. You remember how to use this? Dad taught me when I was 16. Selena checks the magazine. Full. He said every Veil should know how to protect themselves. Smart man. Lucien's voice is grim. We move fast. We move quiet. We don't engage unless absolutely necessary. Our goal is to reach that vehicle and disappear before they can establish a perimeter. What about your people, your security team? Already moving into position, they'll provide cover and delay pursuit, but we can't rely on them getting here in time. We need to move now. Selina follows him to the basement. The tunnel entrance is hidden behind a false wall. Inside, it's narrow and dark and smells like damp earth. Lucian hands her a flashlight. Stay close. Don't stop moving no matter what you hear. They enter the tunnel. The walls press close on either side. Selina's breathing sounds loud in the confined space. Behind them, she can hear the faint sound of vehicles approaching the farmhouse. They're halfway through when gunfire erupts above. The Bratva found them. Lucien picks up the pace. They're nearly running now. The tunnel slopes upward. Ahead, Selina can see a faint rectangle of light. They burst out into a small clearing. The exit is camouflaged by brush and fallen logs. Lucien pulls her toward the tree line. More gunfire. Closer now. Voices shouting in Russian. They break into a full sprint. Trees blur past. Branches whip Selina's face. Her lungs burn, but she doesn't slow down. The vehicle is exactly where Lucien said it would be. A nondescript sedan with keys in the ignition. They pile in. Lucien guns the engine and the car lurches forward. Behind them, men emerge from the trees. Weapons raised. Bullets punch through the rear window. Safety glass shatters. Selina ducks low in her seat. Lucien doesn't slow down. He navigates dirt roads with precision, putting distance between them and their pursuers. 5 minutes. 10. The gunfire fades. Finally, Lucien pulls onto a paved highway, merges with normal traffic, slows to exactly the speed limit. We're clear, he says. His knuckles are white on the steering wheel. For now. Selina sits up slowly. Her hands are shaking. Adrenaline crashes through her system, leaving exhaustion in its wake. They won't stop, she says quietly. Will they? No, they can't afford to. You have too much evidence, know too much. As long as you're alive, you're a threat to their entire operation. So what do we do? Lucien is quiet for a long moment. His jaw works like he's chewing on words he doesn't want to say. We end this, he says finally, permanently. No more running, no more hiding. We force a confrontation on our terms and eliminate the threat completely. How? We give them what they want. We let them think they've won, and then we destroy them from the inside. Selina's stomach drops. You want to use me as bait. I want to give you a chance to finish what your father started, to expose the corruption he died investigating, to make sure every person involved faces consequences. Lucien's voice is hard, but yes, that means putting you in danger, making you visible, drawing them out. And if it goes wrong, then we both die. But at least we die fighting instead of running. The car continues down the highway. Chicago's skyline appears in the distance. The city her father died protecting. The city that killed him for trying to make it better. Selina thinks about Tommy Chen bleeding out in an alley, about her father's video confession, about 18 years of sacrifice and loyalty and belief in redemption. Okay, she says, tell me the plan. Over the next 3 hours, Lucien lays it out. They'll leak Selina's location to the Bratva through channels that appear legitimate. Make it look like a federal safe house with minimal security. Draw Victoria Cross and her team into a trap. Meanwhile, real federal agents, ones Lucien has vetted personally through contacts who survived the corruption purge, will be waiting. Along with what remains of Lucien's security force. And enough firepower to end this permanently. It's risky, Lucien admits. A lot can go wrong. If Victoria suspects a trap, she won't come. If the feds don't arrive on time, we're outnumbered. If any of my people turn out to be compromised, I understand the risks. Selina cuts him off. When do we do this? Tonight, before they have time to regroup, before they can establish better intelligence on our movements. Where? Lucien pulls up a map on his phone, shows her a warehouse on the south side. Abandoned industrial complex, owned by one of my shell companies. Multiple entry points, good sight lines, easy to defend if things go sideways. Or easy to get trapped in. That too. They spend the rest of the day preparing. Lucien makes calls, coordinates with federal prosecutors, verifies that the agents participating are legitimate. Selina reviews her father's evidence one more time, memorizes names and dates and transactions, prepares to give testimony that will bring down half the power structure in Chicago. As sunset approaches, Lucian looks at her across the safe house kitchen table. You can still change your mind, he says quietly. You can disappear into witness protection. Live a quiet life somewhere far away. Let other people finish this fight. Could you? Selina meets his eyes. If you were in my position, could you walk away? Lucien's smile is sad. No, I couldn't. Then you know why I have to see this through. They drive to the warehouse as darkness falls. Lucien's security team is already in position. Heavily armed men stationed at key vantage points. Federal agents in unmarked vehicles surrounding the perimeter. Inside the warehouse, Lucien sets up in what used to be the main office. Windows overlooking the floor below. 2 exits. Defensible, but not impossible to breach. The leak went out an hour ago, he says. If Victoria took the bait, she'll move fast. Probably within the next 2 hours. Selina checks her weapon. The same gun her father carried for 18 years. Lucien gave it to her before they left the safe house. Said Adrian would want her to have it. Are you scared? Lucien asks. Terrified. Good. Fear keeps you sharp, keeps you alive. Is that what my father taught you? Among other things, Lucien's voice softens. He also taught me that some things are worth dying for. That sacrifice isn't weakness if it's in service of something bigger than yourself. That the measure of a person isn't their past, but what they choose to do with their future. He looks at her. Adrian Vale was the best man I ever knew. And you're exactly like him. Same stubborn loyalty. Same refusal to back down from what's right. Same willingness to throw yourself into fire for people you love. Tears sting Selina's eyes. He loved you too. Despite everything. Despite the violence and the crimes and all of it. He loved you like family. I know. Which is why I'm going to make sure you survive tonight, no matter what it costs me. That's not the deal. It's the only deal I'm willing to make. Lucien's voice is firm. Your father protected me for 18 years. Tonight, I protect his daughter. That's how this story ends. Before Selina can argue, Lucien's phone buzzes. He glances at the screen and his expression hardens. They're here. 3 vehicles, 12 hostiles. Victoria Cross is leading them personally. Are the feds in position? Yes. But they won't move until Victoria's people are inside. We need clear evidence of intent. Criminal action. Can't arrest them for just showing up. So we wait. The next 10 minutes feel like hours. Selina watches through the office window as 3 black SUVs pull into the warehouse lot. Doors open. Armed figures emerge, moving with military precision. Victoria Cross steps out last. Even from this distance, Selina recognizes her. The expensive coat, the designer sunglasses, the absolute confidence of someone who believes they've already won. FBI, drop your weapons! The shout comes from outside. Federal agents emerging from concealment, surrounding the Bratva team with overwhelming force. For a moment, everything freezes. Then Victoria draws her weapon. Gunfire erupts. The warehouse explodes into chaos. Federal agents and Bratva operatives exchange fire. Lucien's security team joins the fight. Bullets tear through metal and concrete. The sound is deafening. Lucien pulls Selina away from the window. Stay down. Let them handle this. But Victoria's people are well-trained, disciplined. They don't panic. Instead, they execute a flanking maneuver. Half their team engages the federal agents while the other half breaks toward the warehouse entrance, toward the office where Selina and Lucien are hiding. She's coming for you, Lucien says. His voice is eerily calm. She knows you're the real target. Everything else is just noise. He positions himself at the door, gun raised, ready. Footsteps echo on the metal stairs, getting closer. Selina Vale, Victoria's voice calls out. I know you're in there. Come out now and I promise you'll die quickly. Make me come in after you and it'll be much worse. Lucien doesn't respond. His finger rests on the trigger. The door explodes inward. Flash grenade. The room fills with blinding light and concussive force. Lucien fires through the smoke. Once. Twice. Someone screams. Then Victoria is inside, moving like a ghost, her weapon trained on Lucien. Drop it, she says. Lucien doesn't lower his gun. Victoria shoots him. The bullet catches Lucien in the shoulder. He staggers but doesn't fall. Returns fire. Victoria dives behind a desk. Selena moves without thinking. She raises her father's gun, aims at Victoria's last position, fires 3 times. 1 bullet finds its mark. Victoria cries out, collapses from behind the desk. Blood spreads across her expensive coat. Selena approaches slowly, weapon still raised. Victoria is clutching her side. Her designer sunglasses are cracked. Blood stains her perfect teeth. "You have your father's aim," Victoria gasps. "He would be proud." "Don't talk about my father." Selena's voice is cold. "You don't get to say his name." Adrian Vale was a good man, better than he deserved to be, working for scum like Moretti. Victoria's laugh is wet. "But good men die just as easily as bad ones. Lesson learned." "Why did you kill him?" The question tears out of Selena. What did he do to deserve being shot like an animal? He knew too much, discovered the operation we'd spent years building. If he'd testified, the entire corrupt network would have collapsed. Politicians we own, judges on our payroll, federal agents who look the other way. Victoria coughs blood. He was a threat, so we eliminated him. You eliminated a hero. No such thing, just people who haven't been killed yet. Selena's finger tightens on the trigger. It would be so easy. 1 bullet, justice for her father, for Tommy Chen, for everyone Victoria's organization has destroyed. "Do it," Victoria says. Her eyes glitter with pain and something that might be respect. "Finish it. Prove you're your father's daughter." Selena's hand shakes. The gun feels impossibly heavy. Behind her, Lucien speaks. His voice is rough from pain but steady. "Don't," he says. "Don't become what they are. Your father would want better for you." "My father is dead because of her." "I know, but killing her in cold blood won't bring him back, won't make the pain stop. Will just add another weight to your soul that you'll carry forever." Selena's vision blurs with tears. Her father's face flashes through her mind. Not the corpse on the medical examiner's table, but Adrian alive, smiling, calling her bright eyes, and believing she could be better than the violence surrounding them. She lowers the gun. "Federal agents are outside," she says to Victoria. "They'll take you into custody. You'll face trial for corruption, murder, everything. You'll spend the rest of your life in prison." Victoria's laugh is bitter. "You think prison holds people like me? I'll be out in 2 years, maybe less, and then I'll find you. I'll finish what I started. Then I'll be ready." Footsteps pound up the stairs. Federal agents burst into the office. They secure Victoria, check Lucien's wound, take statements. The warehouse is chaos. Paramedics, crime scene investigators, news vans arriving to capture footage of one of the biggest corruption busts in Chicago history. Selena sits on the hood of an ambulance while an EMT checks her for injuries. She's not hurt, not physically. But something inside her feels fundamentally changed. She killed someone tonight, shot Victoria Cross in self-defense, but still took a life. The weight of it settles on her shoulders like concrete. Lucien appears beside her. His shoulder is bandaged and his arm is in a sling, but he's walking. The EMT tried to make him sit, but he refused. "How are you holding up?" he asks. "I don't know." Selena's voice is hollow. "I keep waiting to feel something, satisfaction, relief, anything. But I just feel empty. That's normal. Taking a life, even in self-defense, it changes you. Your father struggled with it for years after his first shooting as a cop. Did he ever get past it? He learned to live with it, found ways to make the weight bearable." Lucien sits beside her. "He told me once that the key was remembering why you did it, what you were protecting, who you were saving." Selena looks at him. "I was protecting you." "I know, and I'll spend the rest of my life making sure that sacrifice meant something." They sit in silence, watching federal agents load Victoria Cross into an ambulance. She's alive, wounded but stable. She'll face trial. Multiple counts of murder, corruption, racketeering. The evidence Selena's father gathered will ensure she never sees freedom again. "It's over," Lucien says quietly. "Victoria's arrested. The Bratvas operation is exposed. Corrupt officials are being rounded up. Your father's evidence is doing exactly what he hoped it would." "What about you?" Selena asks. "What happens to Lucien Moretti now?" "Now I keep my promise. I cooperate with federal investigators, turn over everything, help dismantle the criminal infrastructure your father spent 18 years trying to reform." He pauses. "I'll probably go to prison, 5 years, maybe 10, but I'll come out the other side as someone your father would actually be proud of. He was already proud of you. Lucien's eyes close briefly. I hope so. A federal prosecutor approaches. A woman in her 40s with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. She introduces herself as Sarah Martinez. Ms. Vale, she says, I need to take your statement. Everything that happened tonight, everything your father documented, all of it. Selena stands. I'm ready. This will take hours, possibly days. The evidence your father gathered is extensive. It implicates dozens of people across multiple agencies. This is going to be the biggest corruption case in Chicago history. I understand. Sarah looks at Lucien. Mr. Moretti, you'll need to come with us as well. We have questions about your organization's involvement. I'll answer everyone. Lucien stands, meets Selena's eyes one last time. Thank you for trusting me, for finishing what Adrian started, for being exactly who your father believed you could be. Thank you for protecting me, for honoring your promise to him. They're led to separate vehicles, separate destinations. The beginning of a process that will take months, maybe years. But as Selena sits in the back of a federal car watching Chicago's skyline approach, she feels something shift inside her chest. Not peace, not yet, but purpose. Her father died trying to make this city better, died believing that corruption could be exposed and justice could prevail, died hoping his sacrifice would mean something. Selena will make sure it does. 18 months later. The sun rises over Lake Michigan, painting the water gold and pink. Selena stands at the shoreline with her hands wrapped around a cup of coffee. Behind her, the city wakes up. Traffic builds. People start their morning routines. Everything has changed. Victoria Cross is serving 30 years in a federal supermax. The corruption scandal her arrest exposed brought down 17 politicians, 23 law enforcement officials, and dismantled one of the largest criminal networks in the Midwest. Adrian Vale's name is everywhere. Hero cop turned private security, the man who died exposing corruption. Schools and community centers are being named after him. His story is taught in criminal justice courses. His sacrifice meant something. Lucien Moretti is serving 7 years in a medium security facility downstate. He cooperated fully with investigators, turned over everything, helped prosecute the last remnants of the Bratva's operation. The judge took his cooperation into account during sentencing. Selena visits him once a month. They talk about her father, about the legitimate businesses she's running using the money Lucien transferred to her, about how the city is changing, healing. He tells her about the classes he's taking, business administration, criminal justice reform, how to help ex-offenders reintegrate into society. He's planning for a future where his past doesn't define him. Sometimes they talk about what comes next, when he's released, what role he might play in the empire they're transforming from criminal enterprise into something legitimate, something Adrian would actually be proud of. Other times they just sit in silence, two people bound together by loss and loyalty and the impossible burden of honoring a good man's memory. The businesses her father helped build are thriving. 300 employees across coffee shops, construction projects, and property management, all legitimate, all clean, all contributing to neighborhoods that desperately need investment. Selena has poured everything into them. Her creativity, her determination, her father's unwavering belief that broken things can be made whole if someone cares enough to try. She's not the same person she was 18 months ago. The grief is still there, crushing and absolute, but it's evolved into something else, something that drives her forward instead of pulling her under. Her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. She almost deletes it. Then she sees the message. Hi, Bright Eyes. Don't freak out. It's safe. I needed you to know I kept my promise. The man who hired the shooter to kill me is in custody. Real custody this time. Federal agents arrested Dmitry Volkov this morning. They found evidence connecting him to Marco Santini's original order. Justice is slow, but it arrives eventually. Your father would be proud of you. I know I am. L. Selena reads the message 3 times. Lucien isn't supposed to have access to phones in prison, but apparently some rules are more flexible than others. She types back, "Thank you for everything. See you next month." The response comes immediately. Looking forward to it. Say hi to Adrian for me. Selena tucks her phone away, turns to walk back toward the city. But first she makes a detour. Oak Hill Cemetery sits on the north side, rolling green hills dotted with headstones and monuments. She knows the way by heart now. Section 14, row 7, third marker from the oak tree. Adrian Vale's headstone is simple black granite. His name, his dates. And below that, the words Selena chose, hero, father, friend. His sacrifice changed everything. She kneels beside the grave, sets down fresh flowers, white roses, her father's favorite.
Hey, Dad, she says quietly. I know it's been a while. Things have been busy. The businesses are growing. We opened 2 new locations last month, hired 40 people, most of them from neighborhoods you used to protect. A bird calls somewhere in the trees.
Lucien's doing okay. Better than okay, actually. He's taking it seriously. The rehabilitation, the education, the whole transformation thing you spent 18 years working toward. I think he's finally becoming the man you always believed he could be. She pauses. I miss you every single day. I miss your terrible jokes and your Sunday morning pancakes and the way you called me Bright Eyes even when I was 30 years old. I miss your voice and your laugh and the way you made everything feel safe even when the world was falling apart. Tears streamed down her face. But I understand now. Why you stayed with Lucien. Why you believed in him. Why you sacrificed so much trying to save someone everyone else had written off. Because some people are worth saving. And the act of believing in them, of refusing to give up even when it's hard, that changes the world. She stands, wipes her eyes. I'm going to keep building what you started, Dad. I'm going to make sure your death wasn't for nothing. I'm going to transform everything you and Lucien built into something that actually helps people instead of hurting them. The morning sun climbs higher. Light spills across the cemetery in golden waves. I love you, Selena whispers. Always. She walks back toward the city, toward the businesses bearing her father's name, toward the future he sacrificed everything to give her. Behind her, Adrian Vale's headstone catches the morning light, and somewhere in the quiet glow of dawn, his daughter continues honoring him the only way that matters, by becoming exactly the person he believed she could be, by transforming his sacrifice into something beautiful, by proving that even in a world built on violence and corruption, one person's faith in redemption can change everything. The city wakes up around her. Chicago moves through another morning. But for Selena Vale, this sunrise feels different. Not like an ending, like a beginning. The beginning of a future her father hoped she would build. A future where broken things can be made whole, where loyalty means something, where sacrifice transforms darkness into light, and where Adrian Vale's final act of love continues rippling outward, through businesses bearing his name, through lives changed by his example, through a daughter who refuses to let his death be meaningless. Some people save you long before they die. Adrian Vale's final gift wasn't just exposing corruption or protecting Lucien Moretti. It was showing his daughter that the measure of a life isn't how long you live. It's what you choose to build with the time you're given. And in the end, that's the only thing that matters.